Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Time Warp Podcast. I'm here with Anish, as always. Say hi, Anish.
Hi.
And I'm also here with Sanmia, our Bayern fan. Say hi, Sanmia.
Hello, hello, I'm Samia.
And then our new guest today here with Muntaha. Say hi, Muntaha. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Montaha. Like diehard Madridista. Most of the time, I'm objective, but at times I'm being subjective as well. So, yeah, so like I'm a football fanatic freak like you guys. So, yeah, we'll discuss about Bayern and many other topics today.
Yeah. So today we're gonna do an all-around football discussion. We're talking about Bayern and their recent success and the game against Sevilla. We're gonna talk about Liverpool, uh, some our prem predictions for the upcoming season, and then we'll talk about some footballing legends towards the end. So yeah, so Anish, I'll hand it over to you. So go ahead.
So today we'll be talking about the game between Bayern and Sevilla, the Super Cup game, and we did a little 20-minute trial run before the recording, and we discussed a little bit on like Thiago and all that. So I'll just give like a brief summary of basically what everybody said. And like I just want to quickly congratulate Javi Martinez. Might be the best DM to ever play for Bayern of all time. Part of a really good team in 2013 under Jupp Heynckes. I think the best team within a single season to win a Champions League because they were able to beat opposition in many different ways. They had like a plan A, plan B, plan C, and of course Heinkes was very thorough in how he constructed his teams, his schematics and everything against the opposition. And I think one of his favorite players personally was definitely Javi Martinez because from a tactical standpoint, Javi had a really crucial role in how the team played, and I think this was the like a really good send off for him. Of course, it's been not an easy road for him like over the past several years since that treble in 2013. He's had some ups and downs, played out of position, of course, by Pep as a center back. I think he was really good in whatever role the coaches gave him, and he's been a really like valuable servant to Bayern. And I think this is the best way he could move on to different pastures by scoring the winner in the Super Cup as Bayern won it 7 years ago under Guardiola. Of course, that was his first trophy with the club as well. So I just want to give like a quick assessment of some key moments of the match, some players and some tactics. I think we have to like give a little bit of praise to Sevilla, first off because people always seem to underestimate them, but they prove time and again the doubters wrong, and they're like a really tough team to beat. They always gave Madrid and Barcelona like the strong Madrid and Barcelona teams of yesteryear issues in the league, especially when playing at home. And they showed sort of their Europa League form in this game, and it was a really like big, I feel, statement for them, even though they didn't win and they lost to the better team for sure. That they like took the game to extra time and they won with their heads held high. They're always a team that competes, that really never gives you anything that makes life difficult. I mean, sort of, everything that Barca wasn't in that 8-2, and we expected from Messi and goal. I mean, that we didn't get, but I mean, Sevilla definitely gave it to us. And I feel like this was probably Bayern's toughest European outing. Ironically, it wasn't even in the Champions League. So, I mean, you're basically seeing, like Lopetegui, how good a coach he is in his own right, and why Sevilla are a Champions League caliber team, right now, and they deserve to be in the Champions League this season. But for Bayern, I feel like they were definitely the better team, and I think one reason why few people can cope with them again is the speed. It's been a long time since we've seen a team with this many fast players in so many different positions. When you have quick defenders, it's easier for them to recover and intercept the ball. When you have quick attackers, of course, it can burn whatever opposition defense you're facing. And when you're using this much speed and you play a very proactive, high risk, high line style, it could be a gateway for you to score a lot of goals, which is what Bayern Munich did this season. And I was expecting them to score many more against Sevilla. I was expecting more of a 4-2 rather than a 2-1. But again, that's where you have to credit Sevilla a little bit. But in the end, Bayern just proved too much for them. A bit of a scrappy goal. in the end, but it was a deserved goal. I think like Sane, if I'm not mistaken, scored a goal that was I feel it was harshly disallowed. So I feel 2-1 probably was the appropriate scoreline for the game. But I'll just give like a couple of thoughts. So Thiago Alcantara, I feel like these two teams sort of had a few departures in the last couple of weeks to some very crucial players. From a Bayern standpoint, it's Thiago, and I feel like at certain points in this game, even though they won, I feel like this is the kind of game, and they'll face harder teams in the Champions League where Thiago, I feel at points will be missed because Kimmich, he's really tidy in possession and has really good distribution. But I feel like that sexy verb that Thiago plays within the midfield and how good he is on the ball and how he can actually dictate and command and control games and switch the play and find passing lanes, retain the ball, recirculate the ball. It's extremely difficult to get the ball off Thiago because of how good his ball control, dribbling, and of course his skill set. His skills, his flair, is he's a very very difficult player to win the ball off of. And one of the reasons why he's so good at the six is because he's so press resistant. And like in postmodern football, of course, it's really important to have that in your six because otherwise it can be pretty threatening for your team. So Thiago is an exceptionally reliable player in that position, and against PSG, of course, he completely commanded the game. And I feel like if he was there in yesterday's game, Bayern would have been able to control that game a lot more than they did. Another player I want to talk about is Reguilon, of course. Sevilla tried to target Pavard at times, but I feel like with Reguilon there, like they might have had a little bit more luck because of the form he was in this season. And of course, another player like I want to talk about definitely is Rakitic, because I feel like we're seeing sort of like a new leaf from Rakitic. Like he's showed a form I hadn't seen from him in a long time. He looks more motivated, and he sort of is able to fill the gap of Ever Banega to an extent, of course, who left Sevilla as well, because he was able to control to an extent, the midfield, able to add some energy, some defensive work rate, and all that good stuff, like to help Sevilla get a foothold in this game. But yeah, so Munta, like give me your take again on on Sane, and another player like I want to talk about is actually Kingsley Coman, and I want you guys to, and of course like Sanmia, like give of course your feedback on Martinez and sort of like your opinion on him when I come to you. But I feel like in certain games, and this is like one example of them, like perhaps for tactical reasons, Coman might be a better choice than Sane. And I feel like Sane likes to play on the right, but he's actually more useful playing on the left because like the left wing more closely suits his skill set because for reasons that Munta is going to get into. But the reason I'm picking on Coman is even though Coman doesn't have the shooting ability and perhaps you can say maybe the directness of Sane, or even the crossing ability, what Coman offers you is superb 1v1 ability, and he is really, I feel he almost works the wing better than Sane because of his dribbling, and I feel like he has so much flair and unpredictability in the way he takes people on 1v1. It's very difficult for a defender to predict what he's going to do, and that makes him so dangerous. And you saw him really work Tyler Carrera in that Champions League final and give him so many issues because of not only the pace but the close control dribbling. And I feel like perhaps he's Bayern's best 1v1 machine when it comes to their wingers, because I feel like 1v1 he's a really really difficult player to defend against. And perhaps like I feel like sometimes it's a good idea to start him in given like particular games, especially if you're up against very very defensively solid fullbacks. A player like Coleman is really really useful to work those kinds of defenders. So Mutal, like give me your takes briefly on Thiago, Sane, and perhaps Coleman if you would like.
Yeah, so with regards to that, like Bayern, I mean Bayern impressed me last season the way they played. I mean, and again this game Sevilla, we expected Bayern to win. Like in a sense, like because Bayern's superior team and they have better players on paper as well. So I mean, that was not even an argument with that. But what impressed me is Sevilla, the way Lopetegui is like he set up his team for like against Bayern. I mean, even he took risk. Like at times we can see where Sevilla was throwing men forward. So I mean that was really impressive from Lopetegui as well. And the way they were beating the first pressing line of Bayern, the Sevilla midfielders, that was impressive as well. And the Rakitic improved attackingly, I'll say. Uh, in this game, defensively, he did a mistakes where because which is natural. Like this is the first game in the Sevilla again. He returned back to Sevilla, you know. So especially in the Lopetegui and the new system, new manager. So it's easily understandable. But he was switched off for a second where he could have been marked Leon Goretzka, and then you can see Leon Goretzka scored the goal. Lewandowski assisted him. So where you can clearly see Rakitic switched off. But aside from that, I mean, he was pretty decent and way better than like the last 2 seasons where he played for Barcelona. So of course, I mean, he improved attackingly as well. And with regards to Region missing, I think so. Region missing, like they miss Region presence in attack, but not in defense. Say Escudero was like pretty decent and he was solid defensively. I mean, he pretty much marked Sane and like he was dealing really well and and one more reason I believe why he was doing so good is like because Pawar is not putting any pressure attackingly from the right flank for Bayern Munich, and that was so it's pretty much one-on-one situation for most of the time against Escudero versus Leroy Sané. And with regards to Thiago Alcantara, I said that like Thiago Alcantara is a midfield maestro. Kimmich is not. I mean, Kimmich is a great player. He could be very effective, productive on as a midfielder, but it doesn't mean that like productivity is everything. In some games where you have to break the defense, you have to somehow open the channel against low block team, which I can see Bayern can suffer. Okay, in the absence of Thiago Alcantara. So I mean, Thiago Alcantara is that kind of midfielder who's really stylish and who really gel up well against Leon Goretzka. The people will say, okay, like, look at the partnership of Kimmich and Goretzka. But I mean, that was against Bundesliga team. I can understand, but still, the position quality in Champions League and in leagues are way different. Like it's completely two different ball games. So when you compare Thiago Alcantara as a midfielder, as a midfield master, his brain works quicker. He understands better. He has better vision, better passing, better switch off play than Kimmich. But Kimmich is good. Okay, Kimmich is clutch. He scored some clutch goals. He assisted as well through cross against Champions League final. But still, I believe overall, if you see who's better midfielder, I believe it's Thiago for me. Uh, would I say they did a mistake? Technically, yes, they did a mistake by selling Thiago, but like I think so. Kimmich is pretty much decent replacement, but it's not a pound to pound replacement for me. I believe.
Good terminology there.
Yeah, and now when we talk about with regards to Coman, I believe Coman is that player where sometimes when he tries to express himself, he overdoes the thing. When for example like unnecessary dribble then sometimes low crosses which are like but there is like pretty much you can see defenders are there they might clear the ball the box and everything. So I mean Koman is a player if you give him some restrictive job to do it. I mean, he will do it for you. If you tell him, come on, you have to play on the right flank. You have to play as a wide player. There's no more help coming from the flank, from the full back position, for you. So at that time, I think Coman is more productive than Leroy Sané on the right flank. And with
Mm-hmm.
regards to Leroy Sané, I believe Leroy Sané is not. I'm not going to compare with Iron Robin because that guy is insane when it comes to right flank and cutting inside. I mean, when Leroy Sané play on the right flank, and when he tries to cut inside, and if he plays against like top class opposition in Champions League, he's pretty much predictable because you can see all his shots were blocked, all his what he attempted, which was blocked by Diego Carlos and Jules Koundé. So I believe Koeman, Sane is pretty predictable on the right. Yes, but when he plays on the left, then you can see the best of Sane because he cut inside from the right and he takes shots pretty accurately on the from the left when he got inside, and it's a strong position, I believe. And even low crosses of Sane is insane, but pinpoint accuracy if he plays on the left. So I think this is the best position for me. I still believe it's left for Sane, it's not right, so they can still find that thing sorted out, in the season. And lastly, I just want to say, with regards to Lucas Hernandez, I believe it's now high time for Bayern to convert that guy, or like him into a proper centre back. I think it's
Yes.
time now,
Mhm.
because you cannot rely on David Alaba. Look, David Alaba last season he was decent. He was good. I'll say that he was very good. But you cannot rely him for the coming years. In, like, for example, you need a left centre back, and I believe the guy is left-footed, and if you play him left centre back, him and David Alfonso Davis, sorry, his connection and would be really good, because I believe both of them, and he's pacey as well. So in a sense, you have another fast centre back, and then you have Nicolas Sule for future, or they might keep David Alaba. So pretty much they have like three options for the centre back once Boateng leaves. So I mean that would be the good choice. And lastly, with regards to Sevilla, I mean Sevilla impressed me, and if they keep playing like that this season in La Liga, or at least give the best, they could be threatening force for La Liga this season. I believe that. Yeah. So that's it.
Mhm.
That's pretty much.
Yeah, so Sanmi, like first Javi Martinez, and then like your thoughts on the game and the players we just talked about.
Yeah, Javi Martinez, he is undoubtedly. I will never forget his performance against Barcelona in 2013, both legs, and the Champions League final performance against Dortmund. He was absolutely splendid in all those games. So, and he has always been a very loyal player. He's never complained when he got benched. He whenever we needed him, he usually just steps up and shows up. He's a big game player whenever we need him the most. And yeah, Bayern legend undoubtedly. He's excellent career, and it's just a shame that he got a terrible injury in 2014, I think. If it wasn't because of that injury, he would have been a lot better. He would have been a lot better than he would have a better career. But still, what he did in his prime is just absolutely spectacular. So yeah, he's a Bayern legend. And for the game, I feel like Sevilla, they kind of created a blueprint to defeat Bayern. I think most teams look at Sevilla's strategy. What they did was whenever they got the ball from Bayern Munich, and when they're about to unleash a counterattack, they played one-touch football, which just completely which they completely messed up with our like when we lose the ball, we immediately press the opposition. And Sevilla playing one-touch football, they were able to bypass our midfielders easily, which now they would bypass our midfielders and face with our only defense. They only have our defense to bypass. So that's a good strategy to defeat Bayern with that one-touch football. And secondly is whenever Bayern played the slow build-up play from the back, Sevilla's players would pressure our center backs, and they would block the passing lane for Kimmich and Goretzka. And that's actually a very smart strategy, because we lost Thiago. We don't have a player that has great technicality, that can beat the opposition. So because Kimmich and Goretzka are kind of limited technically, so they just completely blocked their passing lane, and so they made it very hard for Bayern Munich players to beat the press. And they relied, in that case, we would rely too much on our fullbacks to do the ball carry, instead of before when we had Thiago, we would just rely on Thiago's technicality to bypass opposition and make a through ball to to our wingers or Thomas Muller. So I noticed how Bayern's build-up play got noticeably slower without Thiago. And yeah, for the game, I think we deserved to win the game. Was it a great performance? I don't think it was a great performance for our standards. I think it could have been better. So, and we should have been more clinical in the first half. We should have been a goal up at least. So I think if we were more clinical, we probably would have won the game. And our defense looked quite shaky at the back. So that's also one area that Flick needs to fix, because we almost conceded a goal in the 86th minute if it wasn't because of Neuer. So yeah, overall, I think we deserved to win the game, but there were some weaknesses in this Bayern team.
And I think like you hit like a lot of really good points actually, but the one I think like key stroke that I'm gonna like pick up on is the whole idea of like possession and midfield, right? Because these are like two really important things. Like the most important area of the pitch, like at least from a tactical standpoint, okay, you could say your goalkeeper is to protect you, ultimately, like, you know, make clutch saves and all that. Your forwards are the ones that win you the game, you know, like, but from a tactical standpoint, the midfield 100% of the time is the most important part of your game and of your team actually. And you know, like what your midfield does at this level, you know, like is really crucial, not only in defining how you play, but also in defining like, you know, how successful your team does in the Champions League. Because to win the Champions League, you need legs in that midfield and you need technicality, you know. And the thing is, when it comes to Bayern Munich, right, like I feel like the one thing that Thiago gives you, and that would really help Bayern Munich in this situation, like against teams like Sevilla, who have very good technical midfielders who are good on the ball and can execute that one-touch football, those one-touch passes, is that Thiago has, you know, whenever he gets the ball, like whenever Thiago plays, you know, like there's a direct correlation between his presence there and the amount of possession and good possession that Bayern Munich have, because he's so good on the ball and his passing is so pinpoint, right? So Bayern Munich will have the ball more when he's there. It's more difficult to get the ball off of them when he's there. And, you know, a team like Sevilla, like, you know, like when you deprive them of the ball, right, and you counter their tactical midfielders with technical midfielders of their own, you know, and you're the one who dominates them, right? Because this is why, you know, Barcelona have, you know, at least in camp now over the years, have had such a good record against Sevilla, because their midfielders are like a level or so like better than Sevilla's midfield. You know, like you're able to keep the ball more, you're able to like not let them hurt you because they're an attacking team, and you're able to like, of course, then like spring attacks of your own more frequently. And the thing is that Bayern's like center back partnership, or not center back, but central midfield partnership, their double pivot, right, of Kimmich and Goretzka, they're fairly good on the ball, not as much as Thiago, and I feel like they're really hardworking and perhaps better at winning the ball back than they are at dictating the game. They're better at winning the ball back and pressing than they are at dictating, and I feel like that's like a key difference there. And like I feel like Muller, as good of a number 10 that he is like not great on the ball as much as like Thiago was. And I feel, you know, here's the only thing with that. There is like a really important silver lining. And that silver lining is that I feel Bayern still have one of the best, if not the best, midfields in the world right now, because, you know, like in Champions League, they won't be dealing with a prime Barcelona or a prime Real Madrid. You know, the next best midfield out there probably is Man City, but their defense is just, I mean, crap. So like I don't know like what to expect from them. And you know, like of course the other, you know, really potent team, you know, that could give Bayern a really competitive battle in the midfield is of course Liverpool themselves, who just got Thiago. And of course they have Keita and Fabinho as well, who are pretty good on the ball. And you know, maybe those two are on a collision course this season. We'll see. I mean, that'll be a really interesting and definitely an entertaining game. Probably a better game that we saw in the Champions League final. But you know, like we'll switch, you know, to Liverpool now. and of course the Premier League. And so, like, who watched the game between Liverpool and Chelsea last Sunday?
Yeah, I
Or
watched the game.
I
Yeah,
did, yeah.
yeah.
okay, so what are your thoughts on the game? And of course, definitely, like, I feel Barca and Chelsea are two teams to watch because I don't know what to expect from them this season. It can go anyway because there's so much upheaval and change going on in the team. So, like, what do you think about Chelsea? Of course, not all their new signings are integrated, and of course that's going to take time. But what do you think of Lampard as a coach? What do you think of Chelsea's system? Are they going in any direction? And what do you think of Liverpool? Like, I mean, and how good they are.
Yeah, so now, actually, when I watched the game, like especially the Liverpool versus Chelsea, I mean, you can see from a Liverpool fan perspective. I mean, do they really like should be afraid of Chelsea the way like the hype was surrounding Chelsea? But because we all know that like in your first season you cannot immediately build a chemistry. So Liverpool was expecting, and Klopp was aware of situation where Lampard will not start there immediately the best players, and Ziyech was injured, I believe. Thiago, what's his name? Thiago Silva, yeah. Thiago Silva was not fit as well. So I mean, Chelsea was missing some of the key things. But what I saw is that Liverpool were really patient with their play compared to Chelsea. Because whenever Chelsea receives the ball, you can see the combination between Werner and Havertz. And Havertz as a number 9, which I think so we have discussed earlier as well, is not effective. That guy cannot play number 9. That guy needs someone on top of him, like as a striker, to link with him and then work really under his shadow, like as a shadow striker. That's a term. So I mean, that's his best position, and that's how he should. That's how he excel. Actually, you can get the best out of it. He's not creative player, but he's a goal scoring player, and his goal scoring could be excelled by playing under the shadow of a striker or target man, I believe. And now you have uh, Werner. To be honest, Werner was the best player for me, if you see from attacking perspective, because that guy was giving tough time to uh, what's his name, Alexander Trell-Arnold. Alexander Trell-Arnold did a good job on him, but he was cutting inside, and Fabinho was also great for me. So overall, Chelsea was tactically outclassed. Lampard was tactically outclassed in that game. So he never like came up with the idea where he I don't think so he expected as well that Fabinho will play as a center back, because Fabinho was outstanding every time one on one, even against Werner. He got better than him, So like he was winning the ball tackles on spot, He didn't allow Werner that much to dribble pass. So pretty much, I mean, Liverpool plan was pretty good, and what I saw from this game is Chelsea didn't create that much width in this game. I mean, from where the width will come from. I mean, the Pulisic didn't start it. Then you didn't have Callum Hudson-Odoi. He didn't start this game, so they didn't have any win in this game. On top of that, you're playing with Alonso. Like that was also risky, approach from them. So what I saw from Chelsea is that they were playing actually under more pressure than Liverpool. Liverpool cope up really well. You didn't even take a one shot in the first half. You didn't even register a one shot on target in the first half. That's insane. I mean, I mean, Liverpool pretty much blocked them, and I can see how Werner likes to play, because he himself said that like after the first game he played in the Prem, that he like there's a spaces in Premier League behind the defense, and then he can run and everything, but Liverpool dealt with him in pretty
Yep.
decent manner. So I mean, they closed the gaps, they closed the line for Timo Werner, and you can see where he can struggle, Timo Werner, and now you have like sort of Reece James. To be honest, for me, the best players in the first half for Chelsea is Reece James and Kovacic, because Kovacic was, I mean, you can see what Kovacic was trying to do is that release the ball. He can see the vision, but the thing is, well, there was no lack of chemistry because the like Timo Werner and Kai Havertz is like a new player in the team, so they don't understand how what kind of runs they have to make, So I mean, it's about drilling and training sessions, so they might do it, and they will build momentum and like in a sense like they can play on the same wavelength in a sense. So that will improve, I think so, but it's too early to say that. And thirdly, with regards to Kante, I don't think so. That guy is It's a really good box to box. From a Premier League point of view standards, yes, good. I mean, as a box to box midfielder, but if you really want to improve, I mean, how can you allow N'Golo Kante to be more that advanced? No, 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 no. Kante is, for me, the best position for Kante is in double pivot, and that's how you should do it because that's, I think, so the star formation for Lampard, 4-2-3-1, where you have Kovacic next to him and partnering into double pivot. I think that that's the perfect approach for Chelsea. Instead of playing Jorginho, for me, Jorginho was waste in that game. I mean,
Yeah.
Jorginho didn't do anything for me personally. I mean, Jorginho was dropping deep. Even his switching the play was not that good in this game for me personally. And then you have look again, the Mane incident where I forgot the name of the defender who was red carded from Chelsea.
Christensen.
Who?
Christensen.
Sorry,
Christensen.
okay. I mean, yeah. So the guy was like red carded, and for me personally, I think that was a fair decision to give him red card because he pretty much he was actually holding Mane, and if Mane would have got the ball, I think so he would have dribbled past the goalkeeper and would
Oh.
have scored. So there was no escaping from that. I believe. I believe that would be the better situation for Chelsea to going one down before the first half, then going a 10 men. Because once they went 10 men, the game was over. We all knew that. And
Absolutely.
Aspilicueta, sorry, and the guy, the goalkeeper again, Kepa is a blogger. My days, my days, my.
Oh, God.
I mean, you're Karius Junior to be honest of Premier League. I mean, how could you do that? You can clearly see, you know that you're so error prone, and tactically Liverpool will press you. Even I think this is so simple. This is simple footballing stuff. This is basics. This is not even tactical stuff. I mean, Lampard would have suggested you so many times that he would have warned you, advised you in the dressing room. They will press you because they know that you may commit so many mistakes. So make sure you're cautious when you're on the ball and you can see man is sprinting, and then again you want to pass to your center back. Wow, wow. And one more thing, I just want to like criticize Chelsea is when I see them, I don't know what kind of obsession they have to play short. Every time when they
Yeah.
receive the ball, they have to play short. Okay, if you play short, you have to be quick. You don't have to be lethargic on the ball. Because if you be lethargic, Liverpool is high pressing team. You cannot take your time. By the time Liverpool will close the gap, you cut the passing lane, and then then there's no choice. You have to go for long then. So otherwise, you be quick and then play short, or you go for long. And again, there was a problem because whenever they want to go for long, aerially Liverpool was dominating. They were winning all the
Yeah.
first ball defenders. So I mean, there was no choice. To be honest, in this game, instead I mean, Giroud should have decided this game for me personally. If I see, because there should be someone able to win against Liverpool. They're tall. They are like massively motivated. Even Trent Alexander-Arnold is winning aerial balls against Timo Werner, which was embarrassing to see. But yeah, but that was the case. So I believe overall, if you see, Chelsea was not deserving team in the first place. Liverpool were absolutely deserving. Tactically, they outclassed Chelsea. You know what? I'll go with extreme. I'll say tactically they thrashed Chelsea and Lampard. Tactics, it didn't work. And Lampard, please play Kai Havertz as a number 10, not as a number 9. Please, that's basics. So makes your basics correct, and at least once you fix your basics, then you can see the improvement. And let's see, Chilwell and then Ziyech might come, then Thiago Silva might play continuously. So yeah, it's a long journey for Chelsea.
Yeah, and I think just before we switch to Sanmi, one point I have to make actually is that I feel like Neuer and the way he revolutionized the goalkeeping position, we give him a lot of credit, but he's made life really hard and really shitty, for a lack of a better term, for goalkeepers, dude, because he's changed the expectations. And managers and goalkeepers themselves want to strive to some semblance of what Neuer does. The whole idea of building from the back. And Guardiola deserves some blame himself for this, dude. Building from the back, playing
That's
out of
true.
the back, playing with the ball at your feet. Like most goalkeepers are not naturally good at this. And the reason Neuer is so good is actually because he didn't start out as a goalkeeper. He actually started out as a midfielder in his youth career, which explains why he's so athletic and good on the ball. But I mean, Kepa, David De Gea. I mean, you saw De Gea with under Hierro and Lopetegui in Spain. Like he was just not good, and one of the reasons why he wasn't good with Spain is because he's not great on the ball. Like he's another one. Like of course Karius. Like I mean, nobody really has to say anything about that. But even Ter Stegen, dude. Like if you remember Ter Stegen in the 8-2, when he had to make saves, he made good saves. Like Ter Stegen's a really good goalkeeper when he focuses on himself and like his own strengths. But he tried, sometimes like in that game, and even at the maybe not much these days, but especially in the beginning of his career, like too much playing out of the back.
Mhm.
Ter Stegen is not Neuer. I mean, Ter Stegen's better, much better
Mhm.
on the ball than Kepa. But even he's not Neuer. Dude. But when I
Yep.
see
Yep.
like C grade like actors like Kepa trying to do like the Neuer thing, like I mean it's just
Mhm.
embarrassing, dude. Like I mean, who are you? Like I mean,
And one
like
more
you're
thing,
not.
yeah.
Yeah. Go
Sorry to
ahead. Go ahead.
interview. Yeah, actually, I don't know. Do we have like a definitive answer for this or not? What? Because we don't have anything. We didn't measure anything like that, or we didn't calculate it, for example. So I'm just. This is a question coming out of the back of my mind. So it's like, what are the percentage of possession you lose if you don't play with a ball playing goalkeeper? For example, right, a team who keep ball possession 70% in a game on average a year. So for the 70% or
Yep.
60%, if they don't play with the goalkeeper who's good at the ball, so what will be the percentage drop in overall on average ball possession? So for example, 70%. So what will be the difference? 60, 55? If it's 50 from 70, then it's huge. And I'll say now you
Mhm.
need a ball playing goalkeeper. Because for example, if a goalkeeper is not good with his feet, if he goes for the long, and then you can again somehow by counter pressing you can keep the ball in your control. So if it doesn't hamper you by more, no, more than 10-15%, for example, if it's hamper you more than 12%, I believe, then yes, you need a goalkeeper. Because I don't know like stats or anything with regards to this question, but the question just came out of my mind. So
Absolutely.
so so if it hampers you a lot, then yeah, then you need a like, I mean that goalkeeper who can really good with the ball. So or if it doesn't hamper, like for example, 10%, I think so. It's like you can sacrifice 10% on ball position from like for a manager like Pep. Yeah, no, that's a really massive deal because he's like too much into details when it comes to ball position
Hmm.
of football. So
And
for
building from
example,
the back.
yep, yep. So that's my point. That's my point. And if you play a goalkeeper in a team who's not good with the ball in a positioning team, don't you think so? You drastically reduce the chances of conceding goal from a mistake from a goalkeeper.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. And like actually, like amazingly, like I mean, I might have something to add to the discussion dude, because I mean, like the best way to run this experiment, of course, is in a hypothetical situation is like one season, you take any team and one season they try to build from the back, right? And then the next season they don't. And then of course you can compare their average possession stats in the league, from one season to the next, right? Like, but I don't know a team, from the top of my mind who's done that in back to back seasons, where it's you can see the difference. But like
Yeah.
Borussia,
Sorry. But because if you see that these days, right, goalkeeper who's trying to play from back made so many mistakes. Because look, I mean, and that mistakes leads to goals. I mean, and in the big deciding games because we don't know. I mean, this could be a title deciding game between Chelsea and Liverpool. We don't know. It could be, and pretty much Chelsea has lost the title because of this game of this mistake of Kepa. You never know. So overall, my point with regards to this is, I mean, how much it makes difference. So we don't know actually. We have to run the experimentation there, which is Anagen,
mm,
right? And secondly, Jorginho, what kind of penalty it was? Okay. I mean, you're going with such a lame penalty. At least go for the sweet spot. I mean, that's like a banter penalty, my friend. It's like
Yeah.
it's like you're playing in the park and you're taking penalty. No, 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 no. Bro, if you would have scored that 2-1, you never know. Chances there, Liverpool's under pressure now again. So at least it will game make exciting for the neutrals. But once you miss the penalty, I mean the penalty was safe, not to be honest. So I mean that was a really banter penalty. I'm sorry, and
Yeah.
I think that was the first penalty he missed in his Chelsea's career. They like that.
Definitely. But there's a fundamental difference in the way. Okay, first of all, like with the whole possession thing, right? Like it depends like how much you want possession, but for me, like it's more important also where you have that possession. You know what I mean? Like you can have possession in advanced areas, or you can have
Yep.
possession like in your own half. And obviously, it's way more important for me to have like possession in the advanced areas. As long as I have possession in the advanced areas, that's what I care about. I don't really care about possession in my own half. You know, and of course, there's people who do care about possession in their own half and want to build pretty and like very aesthetically, like Pep. But there is a way to like have a significant amount of ball possession without using your goalkeeper to build from the back. And actually, like I was studying Klopp, and there's a fundamental difference to how Pep and Klopp approached the game. And of course, Klopp's Dortmund team was heavily influenced in many aspects, or at least in some aspects, from Guardiola's Barcelona team. But one of the key differences is how Klopp used his goalkeeper versus how Pep used Victor Valdez and then Neuer and now Ederson. Like Klopp with the Roman Weidenfeller in Dortmund, never used him to build from the back through short passing, especially like in any, maybe in small games, but certainly not in big games. And, Dortmund's possession stats, improved significantly from 2010 to 2013 under Klopp, because in 20, it's like they had around 50% possession in 10-11, but then 11 to 12 it went up to 60%, and then like a 61% on average in 12-13. That's like it's not like peak Barcelona level, but 61% is like a significant amount of possession still. Like there's a domination there because you have like 20% more ball possession than your opposition, right? And of course under Klopp, because he makes his goalkeepers go long, and he structured the team in such a way, and he structured the system in such a way that the counter pressing was so ferocious that they always won those second balls. Not every team can do that, but Klopp specifically like bought the players and trained them in such a way that they were able to execute that, and without building from the back, we're able to have a significant amount of possession in the areas that matter. And for me, that's what makes Dortmund's attack, forget midfield and defense, but attack specifically, they attacked more efficiently and in a better way than that Barcelona team, because they just wasted less time and they were more direct in how they built, and they were more direct with the ball and with the possession they had. And like, so there is a way to have possession, without building from the back. There is a way, but it's not easy to implement that system.
Yes,
And
perfect
yeah,
answer, yeah.
and Jorginho, like I feel Jorginho is this, right? You take Busquets, take all of his strengths, like take them away, like how good he is on the ball, like his passing range and everything. Leave all of the weaknesses, and that's basically Jorginho.
Oh, perfect analogy.
Yeah, like that's basically it, because he can't run, but he has
Mhm.
none of the technical ability, none of the ball retention, none of the passing range. I mean, he has some of it, but it's nowhere near as good to make as Busquets, where he can actually do something with it and make a significant impact to a game. He's not an impactful player to have in the midfield. Like he's pretty useless, I mean, overall. But anyways, like that's a bit of a digression. So Sanmia, like what are your thoughts on the game and Liverpool? And I want more discussion, honestly, on Chelsea, because they're just a more interesting team to talk about. So yeah, Sanmia, go ahead.
Yeah, Liverpool won the game deservingly. Klopp, he tactically outclassed Lampard. But I have to say, like, most of the damages was due to Lampard's strange lineup. Why did he play Havertz at false nine? I don't understand why he would play his best playmaker in a position he doesn't excel at, and he didn't try to play a striker, which didn't make sense. And him playing three midfielders that aren't very creative, like Jorginho, Kovacic, Kante. He should have just played Havertz at cam in the 4-2-3-1. So that way, your best playmaker Havertz can actually create chances for the strikers. He didn't do that. He decided to play a false nine. So throughout the whole game, he really just relied on Timo Werner the whole game. He just relied on his speed, on his dribbling to just create chances. So it was disastrous. It was disastrous for Lampard tactically, and he should have played striker. He should have played Tammy Abraham or Giroud against Liverpool. And yeah, Lampard. I have no idea what he did again. Why would he play a false nine against Liverpool? I think that was Van Dijk and Fabinho's easiest job by just playing Havertz in the false nine instead of having a striker.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. And like, I think it's great you're a Bundesliga fan, dude, because I don't think Timo Werner can play as a center forward. Like, he doesn't have, like, okay, maybe false nine because he's young and you can still mold him to adapt to that role, like Klopp did with Firmino. It'll be difficult because he's not like a physically strong as like a Firmino is, or as physically, as not, I shouldn't say physically, but it's not as difficult to get the ball off of him as like a peak Messi who played false nine. So it'll be difficult for him to play as a false nine and as a pure center forward, because on the flip side, like, he doesn't hold up the ball well. He's not like strong, like physically strong enough to hold the ball up, to outmuscle defenders, to get on top of them, like, jump, high, head the ball, like give knockdowns, like the way, even the likes of a Giroud can do. So ultimately, like, I feel what Lampard has to do is figure out a way to fit Werner and Tammy into the same team, and or Giroud and Werner, which I feel like would be a better partnership in terms of chemistry because of the way they're different and they could potentially complement each other well. But like, what are your guys' opinions on Werner as a lone striker, based on just the past two games, and like, how do you think Havertz and Ziyech, when he comes, would fit into the same team? Because I feel they're both central players, right? It's kind of the similar issue that Barcelona had with Griezmann, Coutinho, and Messi. They have this season and they had in past seasons, because they all want to come central and play that, behind the striker, and they sort of clash there. So like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, Sanmi and Muta.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. So the first game, Lampard actually played Timo Werner in the second striker role in the 4-2-2 setup, which, although it was surprising that he decided to play Loftus-Cheek as a striker, but at least Lampard realized that at Leipzig, Timo Werner usually played off a striker like Poulsen or Schick. So at least he knows that, like, to get the best out of Timo Werner, he needs to play in the second striker role, which leads to my next point, that Havertz's best position is the attacking midfielder. So if you want to maximize Timo Werner, you're sacrificing Havertz because he cannot play at the attacking midfielder role. But if you want to play Havertz, then at the attacking midfielder role, then Timo Werner needs to either adapt to playing as a left winger, more likely left inside forward, or a lone striker. I think the left inside forward is more likely to happen, but yeah, because as a second striker, Timo Werner is pretty close to like world class. So because you spend like 90 million on Havertz, there's no way you're gonna sacrifice Havertz just by playing him at his weaker position, like the right wing or the striker role. So I think Timo Werner needs to retrain how to play as an inside forward, and that takes serious coaching from Lampard. I'm not sure if he's trying to get the best out of both Timo Werner and Havertz, but at the moment, I'm not quite sure how you can maximize both of them when you want to play them together.
Yeah, and wait, Mutar, you're there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what are your thoughts on the Havertz Ziyech thing? Can Chelsea get the best out of both of them?
Yes, and you know what? Like, when you have all these great players, what's your motive of every manager when it comes to man management? Motive of every manager is to play the player at the strongest position because that will equivalent to the best results you can get, by playing the
Hmm.
player on the strongest position. So now in the case of in the Lampard case, when it comes to buying players, so okay, you sign Kai Havertz because I believe this is a signing which because they were chasing what's his name, Jadon Sancho, and I believe that like they couldn't able to sign him, so that's what okay. If you cannot sign this wonder kid, let's go for the another wonder kid, which was Kai Havertz, and from the Bundesliga. I believe okay they signed him. So they signed Havertz. Now they have Werner, which was I believe they signed before the Champions League thing, and then they signed Ziyech as well at the same time. So who needs to sacrifice most out of these three players, and who is actually capable on the ability to sacrifice the most?
Is
That's the
Ziyech.
question. Yes. So the question is simple: is Ziyech? So in a sense, Ziyech can play number 10, which is his best position, I believe. But he can sacrifice and he can play as a right winger, right forward, or I won't say right forward, but like more of a right winger kind of
Hmm.
player. He have to act as a winger, so which he can do it. Yes, I think so. He can do it, but still, that's not his strong position. But it's better. You can afford to play Ziyech as a winger than number 10 because you cannot play Kai Havertz as a number 9
No
or wing
way.
player.
Yeah.
That will definitely not work. So in a sense, what you did with Werner, I think so. That was impressive for me because I can see the glimpses where Werner was doing good as an inside forward against Liverpool. He was doing good job, but the problem was that there was no one to connect with him against Liverpool. So if Havertz would have played number 10, and then you have Giroud or Tammy as number 9, I think that would have worked properly for them. So you have Havertz as number 10, and then you have Werner, or more of an inside forward striker, inside forward, that kind of role. So that will definitely work for them. Now let's talk about Ziyech role. Ziyech, like he needs to train Ziyech. I mean, when I mean train, not to train him individually, but train him in a formation where he can adapt to other players' role. For example, Ziyech have to cut inside, take shots. I mean, then he has to go for his again diagonal ball from his left foot by cutting inside and then lobbing the ball from his strong foot, which he usually does if you see in Ajax games. So I think he needs to work in that fashion. And again, now when you put Timo Werner on the flank, when I mean flank means inside forward, like so you need to get the best out of Chilwell because now Chilwell workload is increased attackingly. Yeah, okay, defensively you had the work, but now your effort should be there because now you have to also connect by going forward with Timo Werner as well. Because if you won't go forward, that would not give license for Timo Werner to move more centrally because that
Mm.
will that will harm his movement because then it will be easier for defenders oppositions to mark you. So now, so in a sense, now you increase the workload on Chilwell, which I believe can he do it? Yes, but how good he can do it, we don't know. So
Mm.
I don't know specifically. So if he goes forward, then Timo won't have license to move more centrally, and then on top, the only problem which I see is that how you're going to do against the super low block team with this formation.
Yeah.
For, for, because like most of your players now centrally, because Havertz is centrally, and again you have a striker number 9, whoever it is, Abraham or Giroud, and now you have Timo Werner as well, who's more centrally. So you have three players who are focused on the central part of the pitch. Now again, Ziyech, okay, you can sacrifice Ziyech thing. So still, I mean, that's okay because you're pretty much limiting the damage in terms of Ziyech. You're not getting just best out of Ziyech over there in his best position, strong position. But still, I think so. It can work. And again, if you want this formation, I mean, I don't know what's the obsession with Lampard again this season. Why is playing 4-3-3? So you want three midfielders.
Yeah.
So I mean, this will never work in 4-3-3 formation. Okay, I mean, Timo Werner cannot play right wing. This guy cannot play. I mean, Havertz cannot play number 9, false 9, whatever, and right wing for right. Okay, right wing it might work for Ziyech, but aside from the tool play, nah, that won't work. So I mean, to work to occupy three players in first 11, you have to play 4-2-3-1 again. So let's see. I mean, I think so. I'm impressed by Timo Werner, to be honest. Not gonna lie, but and he cannot play number 9. Sorry,
Mm.
Timo Werner is not that kind of striker where he have ability to hold the ball, to shield the ball, okay, from defender, and like that technique, like Lewandowski, for example, or Luis Suarez, Benzema. These are actually strikers. Me, Timo
Yes.
Werner is not like cutting edge number 9, because that's the most difficult part for the number 9, especially in today's I mean modern football, where you have really limited time and chance, time and space in the boxes. So I think so. Timo Werner is better in his position where he's playing now. So I think that's the best way you can get the best out of Timo Werner, and he's a really good player. Me, like, I'm impressed because look, this is the Prem, and I think he's made for a Premier League. From To be honest, for me,
Yeah.
he can challenge Aubameyang in terms of goal scoring sheet. Yeah,
Mm.
so that's my input. Yeah.
You can challenge, dude. Like, and the last question, like, definitely is I want to know your guys' thoughts on Lampard, dude. But like, I've been thinking about it, and actually, like, this is a good conversation I can have with Sanmia, dude, because I see some parallels between this Chelsea team and the 16-17 Ancelotti Bayern Munich team. And it seems strange to compare the two because of how different, like, on the surface, the situations are and were. But like, if you look more deeply, I feel like there are some, like, fundamental, like, similarities between, like, the struggles of Carlo at that time and what Lampard is doing right now. Because fundamentally, the biggest mistakes, like, and biggest issues that Ancelotti had that season with Bayern and why he couldn't get the best out of them, because one, he didn't get the position of Thomas Muller right in the team. Number one, and number two, he didn't use Kingsley Coman and Douglas Costa enough. You know what I mean? He completely, like, just like brushed them aside and played Ribery and Robin, who were very aging at that time and didn't have the work rate all the time, which he shouldn't have done. And like, I feel like the way, and like, the one thing that really frustrated me that season with Bayern is Ancelotti's insistence with the 4-3-3, which is very similar to what Lampard is doing right now. And like, the thing is, like, Muller is very similar to Havertz in the sense that, like, it's very difficult to fit him
Mm-hmm.
into a 4-3-3 system, because like Ancelotti tried to make him a false nine, and he's really bad in that position. Very similar to Havertz. He tried to play him on the wing, and he can't really do that because, like, Havertz, like, he doesn't have that explosiveness and speed and like dribbling ability, And another thing, like, another similarity is, like, he should have used Coleman and Douglas Costa more because they were younger, more explosive, and they had better work rate, and they were just better natural wingers, right? And there's an asset that Chelsea have in Callum Hudson-Odoi, who Chelsea fans
Mm-hmm.
in Twitter, especially, I've been noticing, have been really frustrated that he's selecting against Odoi by playing Mason Mount on the wing, where Mason Mount is not as good in that position, and Havertz isn't as good in that position as Odoi is. Odoi
Mm-hmm.
is like is would certainly be a better option to use on the wing than Mount. I mean, like, Mount
Mm-hmm.
and Odoi are sort of like in a similar position where they were like academy products. They came through the system. They're similar in age and
Mm-hmm.
everything, but Odoi is clearly and obviously the better option to use on the flank. And I feel like like I feel like drawing these parallels, I can see even though he has a very good team with him, Lampard, he might not be able to get the best out of these particular players.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only issue I have, like, based on the parallels that I'm seeing. So, like, what do you think of the analogies on me, since you were a Bayern fan and you probably remember that season well?
Yeah, that's a good parallel. Yeah, Lampard. The biggest problem with Lampard is that I'm not sure if Lampard has a clear starting 11 at the moment. Like, does he know what is his best starting lineup on? If let's say tomorrow he's playing in a big Champions League game, does he know which starting lineup is his strongest? And does he know which, and also, like, his center back pairing, like, last year he kept changing his center back pair. Like, does he know which? Does he have a certain set in stone like starting lineup? I'm not sure if he has it, and his tactics too. Like, I don't see a clear tactical setup. Like there's not much patterns. There's not much like style play under Lampard. It's been like it's been 1 year. He's been coaching Chelsea for over a year now, and he still doesn't have a clear style play or a clear pattern. I don't see it in Chelsea yet. So, and that was similar to what we did under Ancelotti when we relied so much on our midfielders' individual brilliance, our midfielders' through balls, or our midfielders' a great pass, and we rely so much on crosses. So like Bayern Munich under Ancelotti, Lampard's Chelsea, they rely a lot on individual brilliance. So yeah.
Absolutely, dude. And like, so Muta and then Samia and Pablo as well, dude. Since you've not spoken to them, like, I want you to speak on your own podcast, dude. Like, how good of a coach do you guys actually think Lampard is, dude? Like, ultimately, because
Overrated.
like right now, like the statement he sort of made without actually speaking and saying the statement was that, like, you know, last season you can't really expect much ultimately, and ultimately you can't, right? Because like you know, he didn't have the players, he just had like kids. Right, like I mean, and it's sort of the similar struggles to what Madrid have right now in their attack, which is like they just have kids, you know, not actual, you know, world class potential or world class players in there to make a difference. So like the sort of he's giving off that energy that like, okay, I'm the kind of manager who can be sort of like a B-Tech Zidane for this team and get all these, like, you know, you get me these players that I want and I can deliver you things, right? And I feel like, see, like before I hand over the floor, like the only thing that I feel is that he's not using the right tactics. Like for me, he's not using the right tactics, and we talked about all of them, you know, like you know, just about like building from the back. Like I don't think this team, even with Thiago Silva, an aging Thiago Silva in there, building from the back, and especially with Kappa or even Mondi, because we don't know how good with the ball Mondi is ultimately. Like building from the back is really risky, and I don't know like how good, even with the changes in the team, like this strategy is gonna work. You know, because like if it's gonna be smooth and quick, because implementing these sorts of systems, these very high risk but high reward systems, takes tremendous drilling on the training ground and tremendous like tactical acumen by the coach, right? Like I mean, like think about how many times Pep like makes his players do rondos on the training ground. That's their primary like training tool, because doing rondos improves short passing and press resistance. You know, like does Lampard have that in his locker, as well as like fitting all these attackers in? You know, so like I mean, from what I'm seeing right now, and of course the bias against Callum Hudson-Odoi, maybe there is something there, who knows? So like from what I'm seeing right now, it doesn't fill me with tremendous confidence, honestly. You know, it doesn't fill me with tremendous confidence, honestly, and I personally don't know how good of a coach this guy is. Like, is he really that good? I don't think so. I mean, but that's just me. So how good do you guys think he is, and do you think he himself is now capable of getting the best out of these players?
Okay, so like now with Lampard situation last season, right? So I believe last season there was no pressure on Lampard because pretty much everyone gave up. Oh, Eden Hazard was there. I mean, Courtois left. I mean, the two best players, you know, the last decade, I believe. So I mean, they left, and now they don't have like experience, and like it's pretty much depending upon youth. So it was like, okay, yeah. So how good Lampard could be, how much he can achieve, maximum, maximum. People was expecting FA Cup max, and there were some people who was not even giving Chelsea a chance to make it top four. So what I believe is that last season the situation, everything played in his favor, worked in his favor, you know. So that was like Lampard was under the radar, and like the tactical mistakes what we are like witnessing now, we are closely observing, you know, is was mostly absent from, or for example, neutral fans or even opposition fans, they didn't put that much. What do you call? Like he was not even on the prime focus, or should I say, focal point of the media or everything. When it comes to tactical mistakes he was making, because he could have easily got away with excuses, many big excuses, and especially British media is known as for giving excuses to their so and so. So, uh, so, so. I mean, he was like decent. I'll say he started season really well last season. Okay, so I'll say like some of the Arsenal fans was like were amazed to see. Okay, how could Lampard be that good? Then he drop off suddenly in mid-season, and then again. I mean, his child was not doing that good. Away, he was losing many big games, and then again, somehow he made it top four, like on the last 2 weeks of the season. So overall, I'll say his journey for last season was decent overall as a manager. But now there's a pressure on you, okay? And for me, the question I ask for Lampard, for example, or some of his stand is how much time he needs or he wants from a Chelsea club or from a footballing world to identify the position of his players. That's like a genuine question, I believe, because how many games you need? Because how many times you will experiment? Uh, for example, we know that Mason Mount is not working on the flanks. So why are you playing him on the flanks? So you identified this thing first. Secondly, okay, for example, the second identification was goalkeeper, which was a pretty like easy job to do because he was so error prone. So okay, so he got the goalkeeper. So how many games you need more to identify? That's the question number one. Question number two, tactically, because once you say tactically, I don't think so. He's that great tactically because I cannot. If I see I don't think tactical was that massive advantage for him. No, it
Yeah.
was not tactical advantage for him. He didn't make that many great differences with tactically. No, I mean yeah, Liverpool game in Super Cup, which he did good, but I won't say it's a more tactical. I say it's more of a Chelsea player who showed up on that day. I
Yeah,
personally
especially
believe.
Conte.
Yep, yep. So for me, I don't think tactically he made any difference compared to last season to this. And in fact, he's making more and more mistakes. So this season, like he will be under like people will scrutiny, everything, whatever he does, So everything he will do in every game formation will be scrutinized. Thirdly, you touched a really important point over there, and the point is like how much reliable is this guy, like in a sense. So when it comes to reliability, we don't know. We don't know. And now you have a players, okay? Okay, you have a you don't have established player, which I give you that, but still you have Pulisic. I mean, the team is decent, I'll say. Okay, if if you're on pinpoint for at least 20 games or 15 games, you can give tough time to City or Liverpool at least in terms of title race. But I mean, I don't know. And one more thing you touched really good point when it comes to drilling. How drilled? I mean, how good of a coach you are. Because when I see, for example, forget about Pep Guardiola or Jurgen Klopp. For example, Arteta. Arteta is doing really great job in
Yep.
terms of drilling his team. Because what Arsenal fans are saying that okay against lower position against top six sides we are more pragmatic because we are still not there. We are not there. We have to be pragmatic against top six sides. But when it comes to the rest of the other clubs, like in Prem, then we play with our philosophy, which is a really right manner to gain
Yes.
maximum points. And but if you see with Lampard, the situation is completely opposite. You cannot always play in your way because look what happened is that look at Pep Guardiola in his first season. He wants to play football in his own way with Man City. I mean, he finished third. So I mean, okay, Lampard, this is your second season, but still you have to be more pragmatic with your mentality, and you have to understand you cannot play that kind of football against City or Liverpool. Okay, the rest of the team, yes, if you want to go for that kind of football, playing from the back, yes, but you have to grill a lot. It takes, I mean, hundreds of hours, a week, for example, to to just train one move, or for example one specific task of close control, drill after drill after drill, because the thing is, what, you don't have established players, you have players who's youth, who have like, who's pretty naive. Okay, they are potentially good, they have potential, but potential doesn't guarantee you anything, to be honest, aside from hope. So so I believe that these are not trained players, because when people compare with Zidane, I mean, Zidane in a sense was lucky as well, because the players were great, they're ready, they are like established. Like you won't
Yes.
you can pretty much use as ever how you want to use them in different formation. These players are not ready.
Mm.
So you have to first cook them, grill them,
Yeah.
train them. Like, and your system, what you're trying to implement, is one of the most difficult systems, and the
Exactly.
success rate is really low. So let's see. I still believe he's not that tactical good coach. Might prove me wrong in big games. Let's see. But still, he didn't prove me anything. He didn't give me anything where I can see at least, okay, with his substitution, look what he did. He moved wide. Oh, he used diamond. Okay, look, in game he's using dummy striker. For example, he didn't show me anything like that. Aside from making a mistakes and tactical mistakes from the get-go against Liverpool, what he did. So yeah, so I don't think so he's tactically that great manager. That's my
Mm.
conclusion.
I mean, like 1000%, I agree, dude. And like Pablo, like I mean, like, do you think? And a really good point you made was about Arteta and doing a comparison between him and Lampard. I mean, I definitely think Arteta is like a better coach just overall. Forget about tactics and everything. He's a better coach than Lampard. He understands the game to a
Mm-hmm.
more sensible degree than Lampard, dude. And I feel like for Barca, like
Mm-hmm.
somebody like Arteta, maybe not him, like, but somebody like him with that mindset of like, okay, against the lower opposition, we have to play the Barca way, but against the better teams, we have to play like a more pragmatic and smart way. And the way he's
Mm-hmm.
actually like playing good football and drilling these players and like making them better, using Aubameyang to the best effect, because he is using Aubameyang to the best effect. Like Aubameyang shouldn't be scoring this many goals in one of the toughest leagues in the world with this team. Like, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like if you look at the kind of players that he's played with, like a finished Ozil, Xhaka, who's a bum. I mean, Ceballos is pretty good, but he's pretty much the only like good, like really talented, like like service that he's getting. I mean, to be honest, like Aubameyang and
Mm-hmm.
the way Aubameyang is feasting. I mean, a lot of the credit has to go to Arteta and how Arteta is using him. Like,
True.
I mean, I think these players in Chelsea right now would be better with Arteta, dude. As ironic as that sounds,
Yep.
like I think
Yep.
Arteta would get the best out of like Havertz and Ziyech and Werner than Lampard would. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of a weird thing to say. Sounds wrong, but I mean, like from what I'm seeing, like it actually would feel right. Like I
But
mean,
can I be honest with you, Anish?
you know,
I want to interrupt you there, because I felt that like you touched a really interesting point. But if Arteta would be the manager of Chelsea, I don't think so. He's signing Havertz. Because if
yep,
you see Arteta kind of players, Ziyech, yeah, Ziyech definitely is Arteta kind of player.
yes, yes,
And then you have another guy, I think so he's linked with it, Hassam Awar. He's highly linked, like, he wanted Hassam Awar in
yeah,
Arsenal.
yeah.
That is a guy of like Arteta call, like,
Perfect.
I mean he's like he's B-Tech Pep Guardiola, I should say, or like not exactly Pep Guardiola, but like he's Spanish, so I mean the
Hmm.
proper Spanish football he wants to play, you know. So I mean, so he'll go for that kind of player than more of a German player. When I mean like Havertz and Werner. Okay, Werner is like a Aubameyang, yes, definitely. So I believe Arsenal have a better manager, like you like same as like I think they have a better manager than Chelsea.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to talk about Havertz, dude. And Sanmia, you can touch on this, dude, as a Bayern fan, dude. Like, I feel he Chelsea might have made a mistake, but ultimately, I feel like he might have made a mistake as well coming here. To be honest, dude, I'm not gonna lie, because Muller is 31, right? Like, I mean, he's not getting any younger, so maybe 2 3 years more. I mean, if he stayed in Bundesliga for a little bit longer, like, I mean, I feel like he would be a direct replacement for Thomas Muller. I mean, like long term. I mean, and like I feel like that would be really easy for Bayern to replace one of their most important, if not the most important conduit in their midfield right now. I mean, like, and he has all the attributes that Muller has, or most of them, and I feel like that he would be really successful in Bayern. So I mean, more. I feel he would be much. I'm definitely more successful in Bayern than he would be at Chelsea. Dude. So, like, what do you think about Havertz personally? Because I think he's a really good player, but Chelsea might not get the best out of him. You know, specifically Lampard.
Yeah, Lampard might not get the best out of Havertz, and him making that big move to Chelsea, it's a lot of pressure for him, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure in his first season he can live up to the expectation right away, because I'm not sure. Like, it's been 2 games now in the Premier League, and Lampard still hasn't played him in his best position. If he keeps changing around his formation and like playing 4-3-3, then Havertz cannot play at his best position, which is the cam. So ultimately, if it was another coach, like, I don't think Chelsea is the wrong fit for him, but it might be a move that was too early for him. I think he should have stayed at Leverkusen for one more year to just develop there, and because last season Leverkusen they lost Grant, and Havertz stepped up. Well, he stepped up in the second half of the season.
Yes.
As the main playmaker, but in the first half of the season, he was just decent. He wasn't like great or underwhelming. So he was just decent. So, like, I feel like him staying there, developing, continue to improve on his game in Leverkusen, because there's less pressure and he has more leeway there. I think it's better for his development, but now he made that big move to Chelsea, and he needs to adapt to the Premier League type of football. Like, under Lampard, he doesn't play the German type of football that he would get in Leverkusen. So he needs to adapt there, and playing in just a different country. I think it's just it could be a lot of pressure for him, and at the same time, I'm not sure if Lampard improves players, can get the best out of players. So that's also like one scary thing for Havertz. So yeah, like I said, I feel like he should have stayed in Leverkusen for one more year and then make that big move.
Absolutely, dude. Like, I mean, I feel like one more year would have been better for him. He sort of had a breakout season last season. I mean, he was good in 18-19, but I feel 19-20 was really his breakout season. And I feel like he should have done what Sancho and Haaland did, which is like stay for at least one more year to develop. I mean, Jadon Sancho or Sancho's agent has a good head on their shoulders. Like, I mean, like, definitely, like, because I feel like he's gonna develop better and he's gonna move to the Premier League when he's ready to, not when so much ahead of time. Like,
actually, I have a question for you guys. Like, I hope like it's not getting late, but like the question is like, who's like will be a better superstar in future? That's the question. Okay, will it be Havertz or Jadon Sancho? Not a player. Like, my question is really specific. Superstar,
right? I mean, here's the thing, right? Sancho is overall is a better player than Havertz. Okay, like, I mean, like, goal scorers, like, okay, here's the thing, right? And it ties to the superstar thing. Havertz is a better goal scorer, right? And like, I hate the hype that goal scorers get, but I also understand it, right? Because they're really important. But there's other aspects to football. I mean, obviously, and Sancho is a better overall player when you consider the whole package. Like, he's more tactically sensible than Havertz. I don't like players like Havertz, and I'll tell you why I don't like players like Havertz, because they're so, and this goes to like the likes of Griezmann as well, because they're so ultra specialized. They're too specialized, and they have to play in that very specific position, and if they don't play in that very specific position in the team, they're not going to have any sort of impact, For example, you have to play either a diamond or a 4-2-3-1 to get the best out of Havertz, and you have to play him in that little like a pocket in the hole, like the number 10 spot, whatever, like sort of as a cam, but he's not really a cam, because he has to play with a striker, and you can't play him out wide. So or you can play him in a 4-4-2 as well. That 4-4-2 would end up becoming more like a 4-4-1-1, and he would play kind of as a shadow striker. You can do that as well, but you can't play him in a 4-3-3. You can't play him in a 3-4-3. You can't play him in. I mean, maybe you could play him in a 3-5-2, but like the most common formation is a 4-3-3, and in many ways this is the best formation because you have a front three and you have a three-man midfield to have like sort of a numerical advantage there to help you control the game. Havertz can't play in a three-man midfield in a 4-3-3, and he can't play as a winger. Sancho can play in any formation, like because like a winger like that who's a traditional winger, like who can also score and who plays smart. You can play him any formation you can play. You can play in a 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, 3-4-3, 3-5-2 even if you use him like as part of the front two. You can play him in a 4-4-2 because he works hard, so he can play as an RM in a 4-4-2. I mean, like so many different ways, dude. He's so versatile, and like I mean, he's better on the ball. He's a better dribbler, a better crosser, better passer. And so, like, I mean, he's just a better player. But who has the more likelihood of becoming a superstar at this stage? Havertz, right? Because Havertz is a goal scorer, and if you play him in the right position and give him what he wants, like he will deliver for you. I mean, he's a very good player, but he's a very specialized player and perhaps a limited player. But if you get the best out of him, I mean, which Leverkusen did, you have a superstar in there. I mean, of course, Sancho being British actually works in Sancho's favor because of the hype that British players get. When Sancho
nice point,
comes back to the Premier League, he'll be heralded as the prince coming back. He's like the prince of the Three Lions as returned, and deservedly so because like actually Jadon Sancho is the best English player if you go by talent. He is the best English. Like, Trent isn't more talented than him. Like, I mean, Ox isn't more talented than him. Loftus-Cheek is an overrated bum. I don't know why people rate him. Like, I mean, he's not good. Maybe Kane, like, is definitely capable of being, like, the best player. But if you want to talk, like, best all-around footballer in terms of just natural ability and talent, dude, I feel Sancho is the best. Because he's better than Sterling and Kane in terms of just raw talent and, like, what he can do in build-up and providing for them. So like he is the best player, and he will be hyped to an unimaginable degree when he comes back, especially if he goes to Manchester United or Liverpool, but probably Man United. So, I mean, like that's gonna work in his favor. But if Havertz can stat pad the way Mbappe stat padded, in Champions League especially, I mean, like he could become the next big superstar. He can become the next big superstar, dude. But again, nationality, right? German players don't tend to be hyped that much, even if they go abroad. Karl-Heinz Rummenigge played for many years in Inter Milan, but he was never that hyped, even in the 80s. Like all the attention was on Maradona and Platini, in Syria. Like and of course like Gullit and all those guys when they came to AC Milan. Rummenigge was never that hyped, even though like he went to this club that was like that tried to like bill itself as like a superstar, foreign superstar club, which is Inter Milan, right? So Havertz has those two things going against him, but the one thing he has going for him is goals, right? So ultimately, Sancho like is actually the more likely player to become the superstar. Havertz has to.
Anish, sorry to interrupt, but like let me make this question more difficult for you. If you want to bet, okay, something really precious of yours, yeah, who will be the definite superstar out of two? What do you think?
Ultimately, Sancho, dude. Because the thing is, like, Havertz has to score a lot of goals, right? Because what is Havertz's best asset? It's his goal scoring ability. That's the one ability that he has that is better than Sancho. He's a better goal scorer than Jadon Sancho, 100%. But will Lampard get the best out of him? That's a huge question. That is a massive question. So far, he hasn't been able to do that, even though it's really early. But, like, who knows? I mean, like, maybe Chelsea will get a coach like maybe Lampard is a really good coach and he figures this team out and he gets the best out of Havertz and he turns him into a machine. I mean, that's possible. Or maybe he gets sacked and Chelsea get a coach who can get the best out of Havertz, but it's a really big gamble with Havertz. Like, and again, the nationalities, right? A German playing in the Premier League is not going to get hyped by the media as a British player playing in the Premier League, ultimately. You know, look at the hype for Bale. Just look at the hype for Bale, dude. Bale is a shell of the former player he used to be. I mean, he already got injured. Like he's not even. It's day 0 and he's already injured.
Yep.
I mean, he's gonna miss a month to play. But look at the hype he's getting coming back to Tottenham. People still think he's a world-class player, which is shocking because he's not. Like I mean, like this is insane. So can you imagine a young English player coming back to the Premier League? You know, supposedly heralding a new, more talented, more technical generation of English players. I mean, Sancho ultimately, you know, especially because he can fit in a more wide variety of formations and he's better on the ball. Sancho more likely is going to become the superstar instead of Havertz. Havertz will have to score a lot of goals to become a bigger superstar than Sancho. A lot of goals. Like he'd have to turn into like a machine. Like he'd have to score more goals than Aubameyang. He'd have to become like a Lewandowski in the Premier League. You know, like that kind of machine. And he'd have to win a couple of Premier Leagues, at least 2. So that's like a huge ask for me. And ultimately, the bigger gamble in this situation is Havertz, and that's why Sancho is the safer bet to become the superstar.
For me, look, with regards to like, I mean, superstar of Sancho versus Havertz, what I see advantage for Havertz over here, like pretty much same point. I don't want to be like a repetitive again and again.
Like Christ.
It's like, yeah. So it's same. It's pretty same, you know. But the only advantage I believe one thing extra he have for Sancho is that what if Sancho, if they like, you know, for example, if he goes to United, if he can score more goals, for example, because the position he plays, he's not a goal scorer in the first place, Sancho. So I mean, if he scored 15 goals and Havertz scoring 25 Gs, 24 Gs, 23 Gs, every season at least 5-7 more Gs than Sancho. Okay, fine. I mean, Sancho is like talented, but the hype train would be leaning towards Havertz, I believe, because the more goals you score, simple. It's like you're winning the race. And when it comes to like ability and like, you know, and like, I mean, this is like a slightly I'm diverting, but like just want to mention that I believe that goal scoring is a quality which you cannot teach. It's instinct. It's instinct. It's come when you're born with it in football. It's like IQ. You cannot improve. Okay, you can work on your football IQ, but you cannot like, you know, immediately become a great player or like a legend player. For example, Sterling. Sterling cannot become Maradona. He cannot improve his IQ to that level. For example, like, you know, so such a goal scoring is like such a quality which you're born with. In football, you can improve everything. This is what I say. But 2 things you cannot learn. Simple, you cannot learn. And you cannot teach as well. Goal scoring instinct and defending as art. I've said that. Because look, you can be really good dribbler by drilling, passer, shooter, you know, like, okay, you can be an improved player. You can improve you can improve yourself as a player through balls. People can teach you visions through tactics, you know, everything. You know, but when it comes to defending and goal scoring, you cannot teach. It's like there's no institution of football can teach you this, and that's why I believe Havertz have advantage over Sancho, and that's people think, okay, like this guy's English star and this and that, but if he joins Man United has the biggest haters in England as well. Like in Prem, so I mean he comes with the drawback as well. But ultimately, Sancho have upper hand over Havertz as a superstar, which I agree with you there. Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, okay. But then the thing is, like, another like potential issue in Havertz's way is that he's sharing the platform with another goal scorer in Timo Werner. So
Mhm.
the team is also being built around Werner as much as it is on average, perhaps even more. The way, just judging by the way Lampard has been playing the past couple of games, Werner is always the highest man up because he's fast and he can get to the ball when it comes over the top. Right.
Mhm.
I feel Werner, like if Werner is the primary goal scorer and Havertz is the secondary goal scorer, I don't know if Havertz can get to like 25 to 30 goals every season. That's the thing. I mean, that's just like my 2 piece on it because I don't know. Like, I mean, what if Werner becomes the main goal? Like, what if Werner becomes the bigger superstar than Havertz? Like, I mean, it's a possibility for sure.
No, definitely, definitely. But for me, when I compare Werner and Havertz goal scoring thing, right? I don't know why, but I can see Werner is sacrificing for Havertz. That's
Possibly.
like more of a like it's a German thing. Ultimately, both are the
Mm.
Germany's nationals and like the national team players. I can see the journey is long for both the players. It's not
Mm.
like okay, once I transfer, like I played 3 4 years over a year in this club, and then I take transfer and I'll go to the club. No, 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 no. I mean, there is a connection, and I believe this will be like like it will benefit more to Havertz than to Werner, I believe.
Mm.
And I can see because look, okay, because when I see Werner, like for example his interviews, it's like he seems to be a nice guy for me personally. When I like watch some of his interviews, he talks more about tactics. He talks about how he can improve. I mean, he's like seems more down to earth and play for a team kind of player. I might be
Mm.
wrong, but from what I just absorb from his interviews and everything, this is what I absorb from his interviews. So I think so that will benefit more Havertz than Werner. I think
Mm.
so. Yeah.
Havertz is like a really, I mean, it could be something like Thomas Muller with Germany, too, because Muller wasn't the main striker for Germany, yet he scored most of the goals in those World Cups he played. So Havertz can be, they can have that sort of relationship that Klose and Muller had for the German team. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's about it, dude. Havertz is gonna have to. And another thing, the titles, right? Because if you look at Gerrard, he's a legend, but he never really struck me as a superstar. I don't know if you agree with that or not. And I think like one of the big reasons is because he didn't win the Premier
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
League. I mean, do you agree with that? I mean, like,
No, for me, look, Gerard. No, I disagree actually. You know why I
mm,
disagree? Because superstar doesn't mean you have to like do it in terms of trophies. I believe. No,
mm,
that's not a right definition for superstar. I believe. Okay, yeah, like there's some people who believe, oh, if you know won this thing, you're not superstar. But for me, superstar is about how publicly you're famous and like how much like there's a hype of you in the media or in the
yep, yep,
actually that's for me a superstar. For example, like you're walking on the streets, right? If JR is walking on the streets, and then there is for example, take it Lothar Matthäus, for example, from Bayern Munich. Okay, he's walking on the street. People don't know who's Lothar Matthäus, for example. Even in, for example, in Germany, if he walks. But if
mm,
Gerard walks in Germany, people know that this is Gerard, for example.
mm,
This is like a really, I
mm,
mean, so that's actually like a definition for me superstar. So I think that, yes, Gerard is superstar, and the thing which benefits him to be a more superstar because he played really good football at the time where Premier League was at the peak power. People
mm.
need to understand that because I mean at that time, like in mid 2000s or like before, like 2004, 2003, Premier League like was pretty much ready. Like the stage is ready for Prem now to be the most watched league in the world football. So that was the
Mm.
situation of Prem. On top of that, Gerrard was one of the one of the face of Premier League at that time.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
I think so. I think the media played a big role as well, and the Liverpool fans as usual. So I mean, yeah. So I think so. For me, Gerrard is superstar. I
Mm.
mean, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
for example, but there are other superstars who are bigger than him. Like for example, Beckham. Then you have
Yep. Yep.
Ronaldinho.
Yep. Yep. Mm.
All so they're bigger than him. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but I feel like again that's where the nationality I think comes in as well, dude. Because the media will automatically hype. I mean Sancho more than
Hundred
Havertz,
percent.
dude. Yeah.
100%. That's why I believe Sancho have massive advantage over Havertz as a superstar.
Like Havertz will have to score a ton of goals, dude. Like that's the only thing, and I don't know if he can do that ultimately because like ultimately like he's not fully proven either. You know, he just had his breakout season last season. I feel like Sancho's more of a seasoned player and grilled player at this point in time than Havertz. Because Sancho has Champions League experience. Sancho is playing for a better team. Sancho knows himself. I feel he knows himself better than Havertz. Whilst Havertz and Lampard are still trying to figure out what's the best thing for him to do. You know, and I feel Sancho made the better choice because I mean Sancho is going to have a better season this season than Havertz, 100%. Like I mean he will have the better because it'll take time for Havertz to figure out his role in this team, whereas Sancho is in Dortmund right now, and I think they might be better than they were last season because like they're more Haaland will be more integrated. They'll probably score more goals. Sancho produced really good numbers in terms of goals and assists last season. He's probably going to produce more this season too. So Sancho made the better decision by waiting a year before coming to the Premier League, and I feel like he'll come into the Premier League with a more clear idea of like where he's going to play and like just a more clear idea of like his role or whatever than what Havertz is going to do. I feel like he's going to adapt to the league and his role in whatever team better than Havertz ultimately. And I feel like there's too many advantages in this point in time. I mean, ultimately anything can happen, right? Because Havertz is a better goal scorer, but in this point in time, there's too many advantages for Sancho. So if I was to place a bet about for a lot of money, right now like Sancho just seems like the safer bet,
No, that's reasonable.
Yeah.
And I have one more question with regards to Liverpool. I mean Liverpool versus Bayern thing because we were already discussing that.
Yeah, Sanmir, you want to answer this one?
Yeah, what's the question?
Yeah, so what do you think about if there is a Champions League semi-final, something like that, two-leg affairs, right?
Yeah.
Liverpool versus Bayern at their best. The best, for example, this current Liverpool team and this current Bayern Munich team playing at their best. What do you think in two-leg affairs? Who's going through?
Oh, that's a very tough question.
Yeah, it's not straightforward. I know, and I mean because this is like for example, if you talk from the Liverpool perspective, it seems to be subjective with regards to Liverpool. If you talk about Bayern Munich, then you look subjective. I mean, and if you come with the neutral opinion as well, it's so difficult. It's so difficult for me. I mean, you know what? This is a really big discussion. I mean, we cannot do it in this podcast, I believe, because we have to do part by part. Because for example, attack, midfield, defense, goalkeeper, combination, managers. I mean, who takes more risk? I mean, there are many factors, should be like we have to discuss on this.
And that discussion has to happen if and when the game actually is upon us. You know what I mean? That's something to say for like the middle of the season if they actually meet. But right now, like you guys can do a preliminary. So Sanmia, like go ahead.
At their very best, it could honestly go both ways. But I say I would lean it to Liverpool. I think they would edge it just a little bit.
For me, it's simple. Like I don't know. I don't know because it's a hypothetical question. So I don't know. Depends upon the scenario. Okay, if you talk about best Liverpool, best Bayern now.
We shouldn't have to Liverpool. I think that's a very dumb move.
Sorry.
I think selling Thiago to Liverpool, one of our strongest European.
I mean, yes. I mean, that's my problem. That's my problem with Bayern because how would you allow that? Why? Well, was it necessary?
And you made it so much easier for Klopp to shut down our midfield because our midfield doesn't have a creative technical midfielder. So this makes it easier for Klopp to just shut down our creators, our midfielders, I should say.
Yeah, and I would actually just like to add just three things, right? I feel like Thiago to Bayern, it's actually Thiago was in the stronger position in negotiations in that situation because he only had a year left on his contract and he wanted a new challenge, and the Premier League right now, I mean, even though they didn't do great in Champions League, it's still the most attractive league in the world to play in. And of course, he doesn't want to go to City where there's a lot of competition, and he wants to play in a top team. So go to the champions, Liverpool, and go there and walk in as the best midfielder in their team. So from a Thiago standpoint, it made a lot of sense. And because he had a year left on his contract, he was in a stronger position to negotiate that deal than Bayern were. Because because so Bayern would have to let him go on a free if
And to be honest, in my honest opinion, like Hansi Flick's favorite midfielder is Kimmich. So it makes sense for him to move to leave Bayern because he's not the main midfielder anymore. It's Kimmich now. Even though I disagree with that decision, but yeah, it's Kimmich.
Yeah, and maybe Flick, who favors youth, maybe that's why he's doing it, because long term Kimmich just like is an option for Bayern, whereas Thiago's 30, so maybe that has something to do with it. But another thing I would like to say ahead of this game is two really, really crucial things. Firstly, like if this was 17-18 Liverpool versus this Bayern, could have been the greatest match, two legs in the history of the Champions League. It would have been. It would have been the 17-18 Liverpool, and it would have been a far more actually unpredictable game, especially if Van Dijk was playing, right? And Alisson was to play, instead of Karius, right? Like, so that would have been an epic game,
And don't forget Fabinho as well.
And Fabinho, perhaps, like, I mean, like, because I feel Liverpool's best midfield is actually Thiago, Henderson. Henderson is not getting dropped, so you have to put Henderson in there. But Thiago, Henderson, and Keita. Thiago is a 6, Henderson as an 8, and Keita as a 10. I feel like they don't necessarily need Fabinho as much as they used to, because I feel Thiago is good defensively, and so is Henderson. And in Keita, you have that creativity up top.
No, but like for me with Keita, I mean, since arriving in Liverpool, okay, aside from being injured, what he has proven.
I mean he's
okay,
not, but
have he's given with his ability at least 5 games in a row where he's been really good. Great.
Well, the main criticism, dude, is that Klopp hasn't given him that chance. I mean, like,
No.
and maybe like, yeah.
No, but I think so. Yes, Klopp didn't give him a chance. Sorry, but like, I cannot criticize Klopp for not giving chance because, I mean, he's a world-class manager. He knows what his players are capable. Come on, like for me, when Liverpool fans say, "Okay, he's not doing," of course, because Klopp knows that he's not doing his job properly. I mean, Keita's not doing his job properly. That's why that could be one of the reasons. He's not that great player. That could be second reason. I mean, could be many things. But for me, still, I believe by now, when he arrived from Bundesliga, okay, Naby Keita should have replaced Henderson by now, 100%.
Replaced Henderson. I mean, nobody's replacing Henderson though.
No. I mean, because the way there was a hype around him and the ability of him, to be honest, he's a really talented player. Okay, and when he played on the RCM, okay, I mean, he should have replaced now Henderson because Henderson is actually the box-to-box RCM.
But actually, dude, like actually, instead of I still think Fabinho's redundant, dude. But what they can actually do is play Wijnaldum in his strongest position, was just Cam, and Wijnaldum is a very good anti-10, actually. Like, I mean, so I still feel the best formation then, like if Keita doesn't come good, is still Thiago, Henderson double pivot and Wijnaldum in the 10. Because I feel like Fabinho's redundant with Thiago in the team and Henderson in the team. Like, Thiago, Henderson, Fabinho is not a great midfielder because you need somebody who's going to attack more. And
but they will need Fabinho against Bayern Munich.
Perhaps.
You know what? Think this way. I know. Henderson is not going to be dropped, something like that. Or what if, like, a scenario where Henderson got injured, right? So you have DM Fabinho, LCM this guy Thiago, and RCM Keita. How about that?
I mean, dude, that's exactly what actually happened when Bayern faced Liverpool last time. Henderson got injured in like the 8th minute, and then they played Fabinho, Milner, and Wijnaldum. I mean, that actually worked way better. Like, the minute Henderson left the pitch, like, Liverpool looked better. I mean, Henderson, how good is Henderson really, dude? I mean, I don't think he's necessary for this team because you get leadership and charisma through Van Dijk, and he exudes that confidence in the team.
I'll tell you. Henderson is really good for the long run marathon, which is league for Liverpool.
Exactly. You know.
I mean, okay, he's not needy in Champions League. Champions League is
Exact
not.
Champions League. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But he's really good for them in league, which is long run. You know, you need those legs, you need those sportsmanship, you need those what do you call, captainship, everything. You know, so determination for that format, long run, Hendo's really good. You know, well, when immediately it's Champions League, then everybody should be on that technical level now. Because work rate matters, yes. Okay, Liverpool will give you work rate, but they need to go more than work rate now in the midfield.
And
Which is
Thiago will
technical.
give them that.
Yeah. So yeah, if they have Thiago, on top of that they have like Naby Keita next to him, and then you have Fabinho. I think that's a really close to world class midfield.
No, that is the best possible midfielder. But I'm just saying because Henderson won't be benched if he's fit. Right?
That's true. That's
at
so
that
true.
point, dude. At that point, Fabinho is redundant in my opinion. Yeah, but go on.
Yeah, so I mean, I hope Henderson get injured, something like that. I know, I don't want to wish him that. I hope he stay fit, but like in a sense, like I want to see this this three midfield trio of Fabinho and all these guys. You know, Thiago Alcantara and Naby Keita. I don't want to see Wijnaldum, sorry, because like three of them they will give me work rate. Definitely, three of them they will give me work rate. So the work rate is not an issue for me. Now the thing is, I want to see the creative part of the midfield. Now I want to see the technical part, the beauty, the sexy part of the midfield, how they work, and if it work, it will won this for Liverpool. Oh my god,
it will be.
Oh my! I mean, that would be dangerous for Man City. I hope Man City is not hoping that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they would have man for man like as good, if not maybe even a better midfield than City with Thiago. I mean, because Thiago will change the complexion of their midfield. But I mean, there's two other things, right? Like, so semifinals is very deep into the competition, and the thing is that in these big games, dude, like as much as we want it, not everybody's gonna be at their best. You know, you're gonna have some people who really show up, and you're gonna have some people who flop. I don't know who that's gonna be. That's too difficult to predict. But the thing is, like, what's not as difficult to predict is fatigue. You know, and fatigue is determined upon the squad depth. And I feel like Liverpool have better depth, particularly in their midfield right now. You know, Klopp will rotate that midfield a lot more in the league than perhaps Bayern will. If what you said is right, and Bayern will go for back-to-back trebles, and they emphasize all the competitions over again, I mean, that's going to be very, very taxing on their players. Because the thing is, they don't have as deep a bench as last season.
And it's just logical, right? Like, for example, the thing is, when I said like back-to-back treble, it's logical. Because we all know German mentality, and Bayern Munich is one of the biggest football clubs in the world.
Exactly.
It's not a joke, okay? So when they see this opportunity, if we win just back-to-back Champions League or doubles, for example, this season, it's nothing new. It happened with Real Madrid. So it's nothing special for them. I mean, if you see from that perspective, okay, it's special for the club, like for the neutral fans, but not for them, you know, because the team already won 3 in a row. So it's still less, and we won 2 in a row. So what will make it extra special? Extra special is winning back-to-back trebles.
Exactly. Yep.
And the possibility is really high for them. I mean, they can win Bundesliga. I'm not disrespecting league, but they will win Bundesliga. The only thing they struggle usually is German Super Cup, the German Cup.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know what you call them, like
DFB
Pokal. Yeah, DFB Pokal. Yeah. So I mean, they usually struggle over there because they lost to Leipzig, I think so. 18, 19? No, 17, 18, I think. Which team you lost in the final, right?
Oh, 17. That's Frankfurt.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So I mean, there are some, uncertainty slightly with that cup, with that tournament. If they win both of them, I mean, the Champions League is the ultimate. So possibilities there. I don't think they will like exhaust themselves to win both of these two tournaments. I don't think so. I mean, I won't say like they will win with ease. No, that's not the thing. But it's way easier for them to go for treble than the rest of the other teams, excluding French league.
Yeah, excluding PSG, of course. But the thing is that like when you play pretty much the same 11 over and over and over again, even if it's easy, right? Like in the league, you're not facing like taxing teams that will like test you and make you run all the time. Like Bayern will have most of the ball, Bayern will be the ones dictating. But if you play the same players over and over and over again, it gets very difficult to keep winning, and maintaining that momentum. That was the same problem that Ancelotti's Madrid and there's a lot of parallels with especially the MSN Barcelona team in 15-16. Like both of those sides won the Champions League in incredible fashion the previous season, scored tons of goals, pretty much blew out everybody. But because of a lack of rotation in the squad, the injuries started to pile up, and fatigue started to pile up in the case of MSN in particular. And that MSN Barca team was actually, in my opinion, for most of the season, particularly the first half of the season, the best team in the world by a long stretch. Because, especially during the Benitez era at Madrid, they were like miles better than everybody else that season in Europe. And they really looked like they were going to do the back-to-back trouble. And the thing is that at the crucial point of the season, they were winning their games very easily. Like they won the Clásico, the first Clásico, easily. They won the Club World Cup easily. They beat Atletico Madrid home and away. And like the problem was that at the crucial point of the season, after the March international break, that was when Madrid surpassed Barcelona, and it was poetically during the El Clásico, the return Clásico, where you actually saw it, because Madrid was just fresher. When you're defending your title, teams defending their title because of that high, it's actually more tiring. It's actually more tiring, dude, because you're riding that momentum, right? You're riding the momentum, but at some point, if you don't rotate a lot, that momentum will eventually give way. Like it happens. Like Madrid didn't have a lot of rotation in 15-16 either, but we were up and down like for like the whole first half of the season because of the Benitez thing, and then like all of that. So it was very difficult for us to pick up form. And when we found form, we had a new wave of momentum, and Barcelona lost their momentum because they didn't rotate. So I think something like that, it's you can see it potentially happening with this Bayern Munich team, because they don't have a deep squad.
No, like pretty much, like for example, if they want to win the league, like you need a squad depth. I mean, they will win the league without a squad depth as well. But like for example, like the way we won the league as well, and the way like look at the squad depth we have, right? Aside from our first 11. So I mean, if Bayern has a squad depth and that good squad depth can utilize in the league campaign, and you can reserve your players for Champions League. I mean, if you can afford to do that, yes, then they are like very favorites, man. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. But still, I mean, we don't know, man. This is UCL, man. This is like such an unpredictable tournament, man.
Yeah.
It can happen. It cannot happen now. Like, but let's see, because I believe the competition is not that right now for Bayern. There's no Juventus in the market. There's no Real Madrid in the market. There's no Barcelona in the market. There's no that good Atletico Madrid side as well, I'd say. It's not ready. And then you don't have like right now. I mean, PSG is PSG, whatever. How much they're going to change, for last season. So that's pretty much saying, okay, you have a bit improved version of Liverpool with Thiago. And how many teams you have who can challenge? It might be Man City.
Maybe. Yeah, and Liverpool, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, so you have Liverpool, Man City, PSG, who can truly challenge. And somehow Atleti, but Atleti is not the same Atleti, but
they're more of spoiler teams, dude. They're like a team that can, like, I feel Atletico are that kind of team where they can spoil it for one of the favorites, like they did pretty much what they did last season. They spoiled it for Liverpool, but then ultimately they don't have the consistency and that that ability to be tactically flexible and beat all the teams and eventually go on to win.
But can I be honest, Anish? If you see last season, Atleti was not good in the La Liga. Like, they were not good.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, but beating Liverpool last season is one of the biggest surprise after Barcelona.
Absolutely.
Because that's after 8-2, I think that's the biggest surprise, because how could you lose to Athletic? Because bro, when they played Liverpool, they were 6th in the La Liga. They were, bro, I mean, they were conceding goals. It's not like, okay, they were drawing game after game after games, losing games. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, Liverpool. To be honest, I think so. the overconfidence killed Liverpool over there.
Absolutely, it did, and the lack of creativity in the middle, which they will get. And if they were to face Atletico now, I'd favor them more because of Thiago and the fact that Keita's being used more. I mean, so far in the season, so
Yeah,
they would
Naby
have a.
Keita and Thiago Alcantara have to be used.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, like, for the last topic, if you're supposed hypothetically like getting that Bayern Liverpool game right, and it'll end up sort of like the way the Madrid Bayern games end up, which is like the midfields eventually cancel each other out, and it devolves into a wing battle. I mean, actually, that's what happened. When Liverpool met Kovac's Bayern, like, I mean, the midfields, especially in the first game, the midfields canceled each other out, and it pretty much became a wing battle. I mean, Liverpool wanted to become a wing battle because they use the wings a lot, especially their fullbacks. And Bayern, like, I mean, I'll always want to make it a wing battle. They want to stretch out the opposition, right? Like, the one thing people need to like understand about Bayern is that they're not a typical possession team. Like, possession is integral to the Bayern system, like, and that's something people need to understand. But the way they use their possession is very different from like the way a Guardiola team uses possession. The ball, when the ball is won, it almost immediately goes to the flanks, and Bayern like are very direct in their flank play. They're a flank team and a possession team and a pressing team. But, you have to be a pressing team if you're a possession team because you want to win the ball back as soon as possible when you lose it. But they're a
My
flank
only
team.
problem with Bayern, like, sorry to interrupt you, like, I hope that's not rude, but my only problem with Bayern is that have Hansi Flick drilled this team to defend without ball or defend with numbers?
Right, that's the key. That is the key because the thing is, here's the thing, right? And this is really the last like topic, and it's a really good topic that we can continue from the HH Hangout on a much more like practical and sensible way. Is that like here's what I'm seeing right now. Liverpool don't play the way the 17-18 Liverpool team did, which is like the relentless onslaught. This Liverpool team plays more practically. And the difference is this, right? I believe that individually, Liverpool have the better flank players, but the aggressiveness and the cohesiveness and the chemistry and tactics that Flick has instilled into Bayern, I feel like they attack better from the flanks. You know what I mean? They attack better from the flanks, but Liverpool individually have the better flank players. In terms of individual quality, Liverpool have the better flank players, but Bayern utilize the flanks better in attack.
But they have better Liverpool have better midfield.
Potentially. And another thing is that Bayern, like, how good are they at defending the flanks? We know Davies can track back at incredible pace and intercept the ball. But, like, how good would Pavard be in 1v1 situations with potentially Mane, dude? And so, Muta, you can, like, actually just say what you said on Sunday about when you're comparing Sane and Gnabry and Salah and Mane. I want you to say exactly what you said about comparing those two. Like, assume Sane's left wing and Gnabry's right wing, right? And compare them to Mane and Salah.
Yeah, so for me, like I've said, like, if you see Salah, right, like I'll start with Salah versus Gnabry, right, because Salah versus Gnabry. So I mean, Gnabry is a good player. Don't get me wrong. But Salah got inside. I mean, that's insane. That guy's like for me. You know what the spaces which is created from this guy, man. For me, for Salah. I mean, their coordination is like they're geniuses. Like they know the move, man. Look what happened, right? Salah created, sorry. Firmino created a move for Salah. Salah pre-assisted to Firmino, I guess, and the Firmino's put the cross on Sadio's Mane head, and it's goal against Chelsea, 1-0 up. The coordination is so fluid, and I mean, like even if Salah is still restricted to his on right flank, they know how to cope up. Now let's talk about Mane and Sane. Is Mane that unpredictable? Sane is that unpredictable compared to Mane?
No,
me,
especially
for example, if you see Mane, right, he's not relying on his acceleration or explosiveness. If Mane wants to dribble you, he can dribble you with normal pacey speed. Just cut inside. Like move some skills, some tricks, and here and there create space. Link up and something like that. But for me, if you see Sane, if he's not at his acceleration burst up speed, he looks pretty average for me. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
criticizing Sane over here, but Sane needs acceleration, for example, that thrust, to
Mm-hmm.
make an impact.
Hmm.
Mane doesn't need that thrust. So I mean, Liverpool defense is pretty compact. People don't understand that.
Yep.
It's not like 70 Liverpool where they're pressing like a mad dogs. No, 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 no.
Mm-hmm.
They're more like they have an actual plan B now. Like I mean, like Klopp doesn't really use the gegenpress as much. Yeah, it's more of like a mid press. They press more in the central areas and they can drop deeper and sit
Yeah,
back and defend.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you. And one more thing, when I see like what's his name, Nabry.
Hmm.
I think Nabry is more unpredictable than Sane for me
Oh, of
personally.
course, actually, of
Yeah,
course he is
yeah.
actually.
And Nabry is better goal scorer than Sane as well. That's
Hundred
my
percent.
again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
1000%.
Yeah, and but Nabry is playing in the side of Van Dijk, which is literally last man. And
Mm.
Robertson. That's the really strongest side of Liverpool in defense.
Mm.
People don't understand that. Like
Mm.
you have to think from the player's position's perspective as well.
Mm.
And forget about Nabry. If Sane is playing on the right, that's a hell for him.
Mm.
That's what I believe. Bro, you have seen, right? Sane, best of Sane comes out from the left flank, never on the right
Yep.
against Van Dijk.
Yep.
Never, never. So I mean, then for example, if they went with Fabinho, and then you have Fabinho as a centre back partnership with Van Dijk, and then you have Trent on the right back position, that's
Mm.
that's 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 more solid defense than what Sane used to play back in those days against Liverpool against Joe Gomez.
Mm.
So I mean this is really difficult, but individually I believe Salah and Mane is better flank player, but as a package, I have to give to Bayern now, because
Yeah.
because if you see now Lewandowski comes here, because I was just like comparing one on one just with the flank players, then Liverpool's flank players looks superior, which is I believe easier. But now when you
Mm.
compare all as a package, you look Sane, Gnabry, Lewandowski clutching. I mean that can cause chaos to Liverpool in a sense.
100%.
And then, but again, I believe. I mean, yes, Bayern will play on the front foot, which will be the mistake against Liverpool.
That's
I mean,
that's what Sanmia was
they,
hinting at too.
yeah, because my thing is, what Bayern, you have to learn to play at the back foot as well. Like you have to learn to play, like for example, like team attacking. You're under constant pressure now. How are you going to react now? Because when we saw against Sevilla, they were like you can see the faces like what Bayern. You can see Bayern struggling to cope up with that because
Mm.
they didn't face this kind of situation last season completely. I mean they
Yeah.
faced, but in terms of constant attack for a 10 minutes, for example, where Sevilla was coming at them. And Sevilla was not even clinical. If you see in the
Mm-hmm.
87th minute what happened, right, with Eneseri, he did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's dangerous for Bayern, I believe. But at the same time, it's dangerous for Liverpool. But look, I mean, Liverpool have upper hand, man. Like when I see all as a team, Liverpool have upper hand. And I
Mm.
see right now because this is a comparison in terms of best as well.
Mm.
I mean, who's at the best, and then they're facing each other. I mean, Liverpool have upper hand, but I'll say Bayern Munich have more squad depth in terms of attackers than Liverpool.
Yeah,
I mean,
Coleman and
yeah,
yeah.
they have Koeman and Perisic, so they can come up.
No, not Perisic anymore.
Perisic
Actually.
left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, sorry, then I'm like my bad then.
We have Coleman. That's it.
No, that's risky. I mean, I don't know, man. That's risky, man. Because I thought
But
I
that's
was
what
in
I
the,
meant, dude. The
I was in
squad
the
is actually
impression that like
very
Perisic is
thin.
there.
Yeah. No, the squad is thin this season, dude. That's
And
what I mean.
secondly, our defense isn't strong enough. That's the problem. Against Liverpool, like our defense needs to get better. Needs to be better.
You know what? Personally, what I believe, if you can make Lucas Hernandez immediately
Yeah.
center back,
I agree. Yeah.
then then you can use Highland more comfortably for me
And
because
also-
he's spacey, man. He's spacey.
Mm.
And also,
I mean,
when we
he'll
played
get
against Klopp's Dortmund, we had a we had a peak Javi Martinez. We don't have that in this team. We don't have a destroyer on this team that can shield up the back line. We don't have that. So that's another area that we're weak at. We don't. So and our defense is quite a little bit can be quite shaky. If we play Alaba, not Hernandez, then our defense will be a lot shakier. So yeah.
By the way, Klopp hates Bayern Munich, isn't it? Something like
I
that.
mean, yeah, he does. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh
You
my
see,
god.
this is the
Perfect game. Perfect game. Yeah. Bro, this is El Clasico, man. Mini El Clasico.
And don't be surprised if Klopp plays like how should I say it? Like he starts his tactics are quite surprising. Like something very different from what we see of Liverpool in the Premier League.
For me, look, man. I mean, I think so. Bayern. When I see Bayern as a package, right? They look good. But when I see individual Liverpool players, right? For example, okay, if Liverpool have a, for example, defensive problem from the right back position, Bayern have from a centre back position, you know, and the natural disadvantage Bayern have is highlight for them, you know, for themselves. I don't know, man. I mean, tactics plays a huge role in this game. People think it's not, but it is actually. The setup, the formation. I mean, what if Matip is ready? What if Matip is fit for Liverpool?
And here's one thing: it plays to Liverpool's favor if we have most of the possession. I think it's something that Klopp actually wants us to do. Have to dominate.
What if Matip is ready, is playing next to Van Dijk, and then you have Fabinho who's playing DM? Oh my God! Just think this way, because now they have a weapon to neutralize Thomas Muller. You know.
Yeah, Fabinho's perfect actually. Like Liverpool should start a 4-3-3. Like because that mirrors Bayern's 4-2-3-1 actually. At least the midfield wise. You know, because you have Fabinho on Muller, and then you have like two CMs against Bayern's double pivot. So.
Yeah. So I think this is the thing. But one more thing, you know, I mean, Salah. I think this is the disadvantage for Salah. I believe you cannot beat Alphonso Davies by overlapping. That's all bullshit. Is not happening against Alphonso Davies.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's not happening. You have to beat Davies on your technical ability. You have to beat Davies. You cannot beat Davies with overlapping, with running behind. He will definitely. Worst to worst case, you know, Alphonso Davies will win the ball by last stage tackle. Worst to worst case.
But here's the flip side actually. Okay, go ahead, Samuel.
I actually think we have the better attack. Like our attack is better, our fluidity is better, but I think with Thiago, Liverpool potentially have a better midfield and their defense is better.
Yeah, that's
Tanya, I agree with you, but think this way, right? Liverpool, okay, because the formation I'm going to throw now and the names for Liverpool, because at their best, right? So you have to think, if not at the best, but really good, okay? Very good, say. Left back, you have like goalkeeper as usual, Alisson. Left back, you have what do you call
Robertson.
Right back, you have Trent. Two center backs, you have Matip and Van Dijk. The midfield, okay, in midfield, right? So DM, you have Fabinho, okay. RCM most probably. Let's be honest. It's Henderson. Let's be honest, okay? It's Henderson. LCM, you have Alcantara, okay. Front three, we know, okay, for Liverpool. So that front three, okay. So if I see that midfield, I think it's pretty even for me, personally. It's pretty even for me for Bayern Munich. As a package, Bayern Munich have a better attack because Lewandowski's role is massive in this game. Okay, but now when it comes to defense, I think Liverpool have a better defense.
But what if Klopp plays
goalkeeper is Bayern? So I mean, it's pretty even, man.
What if Klopp plays Jota?
I don't think so. He'll play. No.
Yeah, I don't think he might call it the bench though. I mean, like super sub with a Origi.
No, because everything of Liverpool is like clicking off the front three.
Yep.
And for me, without Firmino, bro, I mean, see them without Firmino, man. I mean, the quality drops 50%. Boom. Salah Mane. I mean, Firmino adds intangibles in that team, bro. People like, I mean, it's so underrated as well. Not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think so. I mean, they will work that smoothly. I'll say. Like, there's a subtle understanding between like three of them,
Mm-hmm.
which is really good for Liverpool. That's a threat for of Liverpool. People, that's what people, all the big teams, they're scared of. You
Mm-hmm.
know. So I mean, we have seen. I mean, if I see Bayern have better attack overall package, midfield is pretty even. But Liverpool have better defense. I mean, this is really really insane game. On top of the club hates Bayern, and same goes
Yeah.
for Bayern.
And actually,
Wow.
dude, the flank battle, whoever wins the flank battle is going to win the game. I think we can all agree with that, like, ultimately, because it's going to become a flank battle. Like, I mean, this is not going to be like a battle of the midfield. The midfields will cancel each other out, I feel like. And of course, I mean, the midfielders will have moments in the game, definitely. Like, I mean, like, in terms of especially switching the play, that's where the midfield becomes, like, crucial, dude. But the midfield is
Mhm.
ultimately going to cancel each other out, and whoever wins the flank battle, like, is probably going to win the game. And I have two things to say about that, actually, in terms of the flank battle. Gnabry is not going to get much help if Pavard is playing in terms of the attack. But like when they faced each other last time too, Gnabry was like able to get the better of Robertson on actually on multiple occasions. So I mean,
Mhm.
like maybe it's a different season, but I think that I mean like I still have that in the back of my mind. Like Gnabry was giving him many issues over 2 legs. Like I mean, he caused him a lot of issues. And
Mhm.
secondly, the problem is this: Sane won't be getting as much help from Davies as usual in this game, dude. And I'll tell you why. There's a big problem, and if he does, that's a huge advantage for Liverpool, dude. Because see, like Davies can't pin Trent because the problem is if Davies pins Trent, Salah's free.
Mhm.
Who's marking Salah there? So Davies has to be more like sort of like against PSG, but perhaps even more so, dude, because Salah is much more dangerous at this point in time,
Mhm.
ultimately than Di Maria, ultimately, right? So like the thing is like
Mhm.
it's not like it's gonna be main. It's really gonna be like it's going to be more of an individual battle than normal, dude. Like between Davies and Salah and or not Di Maria, Sane and Trent. Like I don't
Mhm.
think
Yeah.
there's gonna be much overlap. Actually, there's actually not gonna be that many overlapping runs. It's mainly actually this game is going to be I think mainly like individual battles between wingers and fullbacks. Actually, without much
And you know
overlap
what's
in.
funny? You know
Mhm.
what's funny, bro? Just imagine the state at set pieces or corners, something like that. Bro, all of them are tall. Most of the players are tall.
Yeah.
Look at Bayern players; they're so tall, man. And same goes for Liverpool players. They're so tall as well, except Trent and Thiago might be.
Yeah. Yep.
Bro, I mean that's insane, man. I mean, like, oh my God, the physical battle will be insane. Of like,
Mhm.
to be honest, I mean, my wish, like, I'm wishing, like, for next season. I mean, the coming season, this season, sorry. I want to wish, like, I want to watch this game, man. I think it's like,
I mean,
I hope it, and
yeah.
I want 2 legs. I want 2 legs. I
Mhm.
don't want one. Like, I don't want like, and especially not in the group stages. I mean, it can happen in the group stages though. I'm saying like semi-final, something like that.
Yeah, Sammy's perfect, honestly. Like, Sammy's
Yeah.
perfect. I mean, but the thing
Bro,
is, like, we talked
mm-hmm,
about this before, dude. But I think like whoever actually is at home in the first leg has the advantage in this time.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
I mean, like, you can
mm-hmm.
go into that if you want a little bit, just briefly. Like, I mean, because I feel if Liverpool at Anfield in the first leg, I feel they have the advantage. But if Bayern is going away into Anfield in the second leg, I feel they have the advantage actually. So
Nice.
second leg at home actually isn't the advantage because the thing is this is not going to end the way it ended with Messi and Barca in
Oh my God,
2019.
bro,
Like
those guys are
eh,
insane bumps.
like the thing is if Bayern win the first leg, dude, they're scoring away goals in the second leg, like 100%, dude. Like they don't stop, like they don't become conservative. They just play the same way every single time. So if they win the first leg at Allianz Arena, they're gonna score away goals in the second leg. Reverse is also the same for Liverpool because if Liverpool take like even a 2-1 in the first leg, I mean, they will score away goals in the second leg. I mean, it's more unpredictable. The latter is more unpredictable, but still, like Liverpool will have the advantage of the first leg is at home. Same with Bayern.
And
That's
whoever gets the away, who
And just
like
imagine, and just
away,
imagine, and just imagine, this is not semis, this is final.
oh, I'd rather semis actually. I'd rather 2 legs than because two
yeah,
legs is
I
more
rather 2 legs
fascinating
too.
than like actually.
For
I mean,
neutral, 2 legs is
Hmm.
better.
and the thing is that it'll be the best. It'll be an even better final than PSG versus Bayern,
Yeah,
because
I agree.
Liverpool easily, like, dude, like, I mean, I get it, PSG do, but PSG is not an elite team. Like, let's set some things straight. Like, people might like people's like sort of interpretation of what elite means varies, but for me, like, an elite team is a team that already has Champions League pedigree, to an extent, at least like routine semifinal appearances, that already has like like a complete team, at least a complete first 11, and significant weapons off the bench. An elite team is a team that has an elite attack, at least an elite attacking front three, and a very capable defense. PSG don't have those things. They're not like they don't have much pedigree or experience in the latter stages. They don't have a complete team, right? They have a complete attack, but their midfield and defense is far from complete. I mean, so the thing is, Liverpool are the only team in the world right now, along with Bayern Munich, that can consider themselves elites. Everybody else is not at that level, including Man City. So Bayern is the best possible team that Liverpool can face all season, and Liverpool is the best possible team Bayern can face all season. I believe with that. So, like, you guys want to give any final thoughts? Is that me?
Yeah, I agree with what you said. Like, the best team Bayern Munich will play will be Liverpool, and it also it's and vice versa.
Yeah, it's the best possible like test for both of them, and whoever wins, if this is a semi or quarter, there's a very strong chance that the winner of this goes on to win the final.
And in 20 and one of the reasons why this will be such a great game was because in 2013 Klopp lost to Bayern Munich when Bayern Munich played a strategy that actually came from Klopp's idea, which was gegenpressing.
Gegenpressing.
So 7 years later, well, it should be 8 years later. If we play them 8 years later, Klopp probably has a new idea to defeat this Bayern team, because what we're playing right now is similar to what we did in 2013. So if Klopp doesn't find a way to beat this team, then maybe our strategy is the best.
That's true. I mean, that'll be like it'll be like a statement, like a big tactical statement.
And also, one thing cool was that in 2013, Klopp used his style of football. Nowadays in 2020, Klopp adapted. There was tactical evolution in Klopp's tactics. So it will be interesting in how like Klopp's new tactics can defeat.
You know why Klopp
defeat his old tactics successor, if that makes sense.
It's the league and to conserve energy. Both of those things. The league and to conserve energy, because in league you need a better defense. Their defense wasn't good enough to win the league.
What were you gonna say, Montana?
Oh, I thought like you guys can hear me because I was.
No. Like that's what I actually just I just like that was like I mean, I don't know if it was a rhetorical question, but like in my opinion it was because of the league, because you need a better defense in the league, so that's why he came up with the plan B. And it was also like because pressing is very taxing physically on the players, so they needed a plan B to save energy too.
Yeah, so my thing is like with regards to Klopp now. I mean, yeah, okay, which is true. I believe the league they need that kind of plan B. Yes, 100%. And one other thing to add point over there, even now Klopp has something to lose, many things to lose. And I mean, like at a time when he coached Liverpool and the team he was playing fearlessly, I mean, attack, pressing, gegenpressing, and everything. I know at that time he has many things to lose now. And it's not a difference over here. Because they were more bold, Like they want to make statements. Now they have already made the statement. Now they have to maintain the level. And that's why they need plan B, And plan B, which is to win the league and maintain this level, which they will do it, which they will try to do it this season. So that's the question. But for me, I mean, the way Leeds played against Klopp and I mean defend. I mean, come on, you can see 3 goals. I know 3 goals is not a big deal. It happens, but still, I mean, for a Klopp manager like Klopp, it's a big deal, ultimately at this stage of his career.
Yeah,
I'd say, with Liverpool.
that's true. But they also conceded 3 against Crystal Palace at home in 18-19
True.
when they finished with 97 points and won the Champions League that season. Like, so I mean that was like a 4-3 as well, and in the middle of the season, not even the beginning of the season.
No, that's true. Yeah. So let's see, man. Let's see. I mean, Liverpool is like a team, only team I believe who can go toe to toe with Bayern Munich. Sorry. So yeah. So it's totally depends upon them. Let's see which team will be surprising now. I don't think so. Like Madrid will be surprised. I don't think
No,
Barca could be surprising. It
exactly.
depends.
Yep.
Yeah, it depends. Depends how they set up again. It depends. Like for them,
Coal mine.
surprising. Yeah, surprising in terms of like it's not like, oh, they will come like Bayern Munich or like 17-18 Liverpool, something like that. No, I don't think so like that. But in a sense, they will be consistent. They will be like tough team to beat. Something like that. So that could be kind of surprise. Let's see how much Atletico can surprise us again, because we know that like whenever we sleep on Atleti shows up. So
Yep. And they have Suarez, dude. That makes them really dangerous in the Champions League for me.
yeah. So I mean, this season is going to be really good and exciting.
So
Yeah.
before we close off, our next podcast could be an idea. Actually, we could somehow find and rewatch, perhaps even sort of like a stream it maybe or rewatch and then give thoughts on and a really really in-depth detailed tactical analysis and breakdown of not the second leg but the first leg at Anfield between Liverpool and Bayern Munich in 2019, because that was a really really good game, probably the best 0-0 game I've ever seen actually. I think that'd be a good idea for the next podcast, to be honest.
Yeah, okay, we'll do that.
Yep. So, I mean, that's a bit for me. Pablo, any thoughts?
As you can see, I have I'm not as invested in football as you guys. But yeah, I don't really have anything to say. But yeah, that's final thoughts from everyone. It's all done.
Yeah. I think it was a really fruitful discussion we had,
Yes.
and really interesting. And I was like, I mean, I don't know how it will sounds to you guys. I mean, to audiences, but like I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad. Yep.
So
Yeah.
we'll put a timestamp in the description for you guys to click on if you don't want to go through the entire video. But and I applaud you if you are able to make it through this whole video. I know there are some.
And one more thing though, in the future we might actually as well as going back to our 80s roots, we might actually post some gaming videos.
Yes.
And yeah, and what do you call it? Not tutorials, but playthroughs for you guys. Yep, walkthroughs, stuff like that.
Probably when we get to, we'll see. That's still a work in progress, an idea, but yeah, most likely it'll happen. But yeah, so all right, everyone, that's it for us. That's it for today from us. And
Peace.
yes.
Peace. A la Madrid.
It's gonna be a really awful, boring season from Madrid.
But sorry for the short absence. I forgot to mention that in the beginning. We were gone for like a week or two. We were kind of busy, but yeah, we'll try to keep up. But yeah, so that's it from us, and we'll hopefully see you next week. And yeah, so all right, bye everyone.
Yep.